Gilded Shadows is a visual novel game by the devs that did Changeling, which I played approximately a year ago. So I'm back for Gilded Shadows, so I can date one boy. I'm not gonna be around here long enough to manage to date more than one, but hey, one boy we will start romancing. With a little point of attention here, just talking about some of the content in the game. You can see like minor references to substance abuse, organized crime, and depictions of mental illness.
My name is Twilight Sparkle. Have any one of you seen my skeleton boyfriend? I could surely use a wish right now. Wish right now? Wish right now!
Twilight, please. We'll get to the skeleton boyfriends when we get into the game. Well, they've gotta have one, right? Also did a content warning guide that's comprehensive for those that could use one. That's really nice of the dev to do. Dang. Make sure that everybody knows what they're getting in for. They've also got this little section too, to talk about any epilepsy potential problems happening, so it's got that warning as well. And now we're in. You can see here a little sample. I'm assuming that these are all of the boys that you can date. Take a look at the boys, chat. Pick out your favorite boy. Point at one of them and says, yeah, I like that boy. This boy down here, I love his little freckle mole on his face there. It's adorable. Look at this boy. He looks so happy. Look at his little smiling face. Oh. The ones in, not in yet are pale blonde on bottom right. Guy right above him to the right. Wait, you mean I can't date the smiling boy? Oh, jeez. And middle left dark eyebrowed blonde dude. Oh, you can't date him either. Well, that's alright. There's still plenty of other boys that we can date. Also, Slime. Hello, welcome. We start new game. And guess what? This one has some character customization, so it's time to make Caco. They will be added in as free updates as Esh finishes them. Great. Alright. And this is eyebrows. We're going to do the dark red. I can do auburn. It's not the closest color that we can get. Caco would be maybe a little bit darker, a little bit more purpley, but this is the closest one. Caco or Jane Deere? No. Jane Deere only dates farming boys, and I don't think any of these boys are gonna be farmers. Caco will be added in as a free update? No. You date boys in this game, and I'm not a boy. And then we'll choose that skin tone right there, because it's got the little yellow Caco self-insert. That's right! I have to date the boys. I push Jane Deere out of the way. Jane Deere, get out of my way. I'm dating the boys, not you. Ooh. All the hot lady characters, side characters, forbidden snacks. No. Caco is not a boy. I've been scammed. Oh, jeez. Okay. Now we have to choose all of our personality options, which will affect what routes we are able to play through. And really, we're sitting here. This is the first time we're playing through the game. We're not exactly pre-route planning to be like, okay, push up glasses. If we want to date this boy, then we're going to have this personality and we'll have to make these. No. We're just playing. Alright, cautious, unrealistic boys don't want personality. I squint my eyes. I think you can do all the routes even with different personalities, but just easier or harder to get the best end or something like that. I guess then it would at least affect how the route progresses, but unsure. At its best, confidence is the ability to stand up for oneself, to be adventurous, and to stray from the beaten path with courage. At its worst, it is recklessness and arrogance. It is overconfidence in making decisions without a sense of caution or foresight. And at its best, cautiousness is wisdom, shrewdness, and the strength to judge the repercussions of any actions or decisions before they're made. At its worst, cautiousness is the tendency to over-worry or be anxious and uncertain of one's own decisions. It is indecisiveness due to fear or weakness. Well, I tend to be cautious then. Number 2? Accurate. So, next question is, am I stubborn or flexible? Oh no, Gooblin.
My mummy says I'm her confident special little guy poggers.
Good dang it. Also, I'll just say, in general, here, preemptively, thank you everybody for all of the bits. It's all appreciated. Part of the reason why I made, the AI voice there only cost a bit is so that it's easy to spend, not expensive, slap down singular bit, boom. Thank you for the penny, chat people. It throws a penny at my streamer. Ha ha! I'm rich! I'm gonna go buy a gumball out of the gumball machine now. Absolutely, her special little guy. You go get him, champ. Are we stubborn or flexible? At its best, stubbornness is sticking to your own beliefs and opinions, and staying resolute in your decisions in spite of obstacles, opposition, or persuasion to other sides. At its worst, it is willfully refusing to see you might be wrong, or it is refusal to acknowledge other points of view, even if they're valid. For flexibility, it is at its best. Flexibility is being able to change one's personal stance when the situation calls for it, to change for the better, and to see other points of view other than your own. At its worst, it is a tendency to be too easily swayed off the path you've chosen, or compliance with rules or orders without questioning their validity. I'm not sure which would be better fit for me. I feel like I would have to give more hard thought to it, perhaps. Flexible in manners or flexible in body. Illegal thought. I like then also you looking over at stubborn, and you're also like, does that also apply to stubborn in body? I think we'll go for flexible. And so then we are at emotional? Or illegal how? Can't have a flexible body. Oh no, 2 at the same time.
Hello there. The test results came out early through the time machine. You became the group again. Congratulations.
Cheer up, it could be worse. You could have gotten sniff. I found a book of flexible people doing yoga in my parents' room when I was 12 LMAO.
Alright, am I emotional or analytical? At its best, emotional is empathy. It's being unafraid to show vulnerability, openness, compassion, and humanity toward others, and being unafraid to do what feels right. At its worst, it is impulsivity. It is lacking self-control, acting on feelings over reason, and making impulsive decisions without thinking of the consequences. For analytical, at its best, it is inquisitive. It is making decisions based on reason and evidence without letting emotions cloud one's judgment. At its worst, it is over-reliance on logic without making room for spontaneity. It lacks compassion and sympathy for others and puts reason above relationships. I feel like, ideally, I would like to consider myself analytical and logical, but then in reality practice, I just end up rolling based off the emotions. Emotions are rational thought. Hang on, I don't know if I like looking at those two options. Okay. Now there's two ways we can roll with our first name, last name. I could either go DistantCacophony or Caco and Phony, which honestly I think is the more humorous option, so we're doing that. First name, Caco. Last name, Phony. Perfect. Oh, listen to that action music. We're in. Caco P. Honey. I like that option. That makes it sound more moral. Just use your real name. Oh, hang on, but Cacophony is my real name. This game has super pretty backgrounds. Really, just in general, the art is pretty nice. I like the art for it. So, reality untwisted itself, and I felt the ground beneath my feet again. Nausea hit me hard as soon as everything stopped spinning. I doubled over, my stomach clenching painfully in protest of whatever had just happened. I vomited, gagging against bile in my throat as my stomach violently emptied itself. I tried to get a hold of myself, desperately aware of the combined presence of the two men watching me retch on the ground. Stop it! There's just two men over there that are watching me barf everywhere? Oh, jeez. A pity I missed them. The thought flitted through my head as my legs finally gave up, even attempting to stand. The floor tilted toward the ceiling and I hit the ground, gripping my stomach with one hand while I caught myself on the other. No, I wasn't barfing on them, I just wish I was. I was still choking on the taste of acid and whatever was left in my stomach. Definitely not having the best of it. This is a long puke RP here. One of the two men finally crouched next to me and his hand passed over my back. A surprisingly gentle gesture from a damn kidnapper. It's alright. Try to take deep breaths. Instinct told me to scramble away, but my body wasn't exactly in scrambling condition. I stayed in place, squinting at the ground and wishing he'd go away. The first jump can be a little disorienting. It'll pass soon. I just ignored him and focused on figuring out what to do next. I just need to get a hold of myself. Joke's on you, this wasn't a dating sim, this was Princess Sim, and you got poisoned. Yeah, it is a lot like Long Live the Queen then, huh? Oops, looks like you died again. How had all of this happened? And more importantly, what did these two men want with me? Chapter 1, En passant. So how did it go? Did you do okay? One day earlier, uh-oh, we're going pre-kidnapping them. I don't know yet, Mom. I don't know yet, Mom. I got out of the exam 20 minutes ago. You have to have some idea of how you did. Was it hard? Did you feel like you were answering well? I kept one eye on the street signal as I listened to Mum's eager questions through the net connection, smiling slightly at the excitement in her voice. She was always like this after an exam. Well, I do think I did well. The last round was worse, so I studied much harder this time. You always study hard, Caco, and it always pays off. I'm so proud of you. Oh, heck, Mom, stop it. Sorry, Mum, stop it. I laughed quietly. Mom, I should remind you that we don't know how well I did. I'm not sure you should be proud just yet. You know I'm proud of you, no matter what happened. And then I get my test back and I scored a 0. I got every question wrong. I show it to my mum. And then my mum looks at it and is like, never mind, I take it back. I'm not very proud of you anymore. She paused and I waited for the inevitable finisher to that sentence. But you definitely think you passed, right? A 0 disowned. Mom, no! The light switched and I started across the street along with the rest of the crowd, smirking at how predictable she was. I passed into a crowded pedestrian walkway and paused right past the dividers. Passing is never really the issue, you know. I keep telling you I have to score in the top 10% this time, unless Dad is ready to do some major string pulling on my behalf. And we both know that even if he tries, there's no guarantee anything will come of it. Oh, I'm certain you'll hear good news. You've worked too hard to get bad news at this point. Come on, Mum. You know it doesn't matter how hard you work, you can still be trash. She's proud of how much of a statistical anomaly you are. Mom, stop it. Her faith in me was sweet, but everyone else worked hard too, Mum. Oh, come on, none of them have worked as hard as you have. Oh, I doubt that's true. We all work really hard every single time. But either way, I hope I hear good news as well. So when will the results be in? Well, they said 7 to 10 days, but it's usually a bit faster. I'll be planning your celebratory dinner soon, so you'd better clear your schedule this weekend. Please don't plan anything too elaborate this time, even if we do get good news. She just laughed and disconnected the conversation. And with that, I knew she was going. Another big party was in store. God damn it, Chet. I just want to enjoy my success at getting a good grade on the test. You know, alone, maybe with a friend or two, and Mom's just over here going, it's time for a huge celebration! Mom, stop it. If I tried my best at something and got an absolute 0, I think I couldn't even be bad about it. I'd have to tell it as like a story to my friends. Hell. I bet back. There we go. I was wondering when that.
For just the meager sum of 4.99, you too can become a Coco sub. For the price of, you guessed it, a meager sub.
Thank you, Kitty, for resubscribing for 15 months. Taco? Excuse me, voice? Can you maybe take note next time, AI, to, maybe pronounce my name a little bit differently? Last few weeks have been truly exhausting. Every time an exam rolled around, it was like this. For all that I kept trying to caution Mum not to get her hopes up, I really was pretty sure I'd scored well. But, of course, there were a lot of smart people taking this exam. Better than the AI saying caca? Well, I guess you're not wrong. We dating today? Hell yeah, Kitty. Welcome, by the way. We're in here for the dates.
Oh, I sure do love my streamer DistantCacophony.
What? Cacophone? He didn't even say it right at all! Cacophone? Why? Cacoda voice, take it back! No! I can't believe this insult. Oh. Love Cacophone as much as my guns. Stop it. Oh, jeez, it's cacophony. Or cacophony, either one works. It's better than cacophony. Oh, jeez. Ring, 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 ring. Cacophone. Wait. And there weren't nearly as many positions open in the next study level for interplanetary archaeology. What? What? Hang on. Whoa. Can I click on this? Ooh. Wow. There's lore clicks in this too, chat. Hey, check it out. New Albion society of a sort of meritocracy where there is very high value placed on skill, education, and working hard to earn higher places in society. Exams are a major part of every person's life. Chat, we live in the world of tests, exams, and quizzes. I hope you've been studying. Oh my god. Wow. Wait, it's got furries! Just kidding, this is obviously Furies. Don't worry, chat. Furries, I mean Furies, are a secretive group that operates within the shadow of Endgame. Oh. Or any other subject for that matter. Openings in the prime tiers were more and more scarce the higher you went in school, and by the third level of secondary, competition was fierce, putting it lightly. It's almost an hour in. Where are the boys? Come on, we'll get to the boys. Don't worry, they're somewhere. I lifted my hair off my neck and started walking, holding in another yawn. The sleepiness felt like it hit all at once. I wondered if another nanosystem expansion meant I wouldn't get tired as easily. Would be nice if I could suddenly get by on less sleep or something. Where's the reality where I don't need to sleep at all? I doubted it, though. Everyone knew expansions only helped with focus and memory capacity. Well, in general, synaptic response and all that. You know. Slick slime. That's a interesting accidental mistype. Huh. Just get a milkshake, then all the boys will come to the yard. And meant to type in the forehead. Whoops, 4chan. 4chan, then all the boys will come to the yard. I didn't think sleeping less was one of the benefits, though I knew a lot of students who would be all over that perk. Then again, sleeping was pretty nice, and I'd have to give up on it. Occasionally sidestepped a well-dressed man so engrossed in conversation I was pretty sure he didn't even notice me. He looked young, a few years older than me at most. He'd probably also been a student until fairly recently. Why is this one highlighted? What is this? Time measurements, huh? Also, Graviton, hello, welcome, hey. We did almost puke on... That just said Caco Bants, or Dustin Bants, whatever. Graviton, thank you for resubscribing for 22 months. Appreciated. We did almost puke on kidnappers already before the flashback. Yeah. We're also apparently, I guess, on another planet here. And the solar years on Arcalis are shorter than years on Earth, with roughly 1 Earth year passing every 1.5 years on Arcalis. Jeez. So, character ages seem higher than they would be in Earth years? Okay. Well, he looked young. He looked young, anyway. My eyes followed him unconsciously, and I couldn't help but wonder if he had gone into the workforce by choice, or if he'd been forced to drop out after an exam like the one I'd just taken. If the latter was true, I suppose he'd still done pretty well for himself. Even if not making the top 50% meant being unable to continue school, anyone who made it this far would get a pretty good job. And to be fair, many people who didn't make Prime tier would choose to drop out anyway. Otherwise, they'd end up in one of the 2 sub-tiers. But everyone knew sub-tiers weren't nearly as good as Prime. You didn't even get live instructors. Hang on. Sub-tiers? That's right, chat. And Prime. Look at that, I pointed at it. Think of the Twitch jokes I could make with those. Prime subscriptions? Sub-tier subscriptions? Ooh. I'm freaking out over the comedy. Prime?
Prime?
Fat Anon, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Appreciated. Wow, and hello, welcome. Everything went through the net with the uni AI teachers. Well, not that AI wasn't sophisticated, but still. I look over at the AI text-to-speech. And there was also the lack of nanosystem expansion in the sub-tiers. Wasn't wasn't like I couldn't keep learning without it, but competing for the 4th level prime tiers would be even harder since I'd be up against everyone who did get an expansion.
Well, Chad, did you know get a free subscription to your favorite Twitch streamer with Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime! Chat, you could subscribe with Amazon Prime! Come on! AI being called unsophisticated, angry. Whoa. I shook my head, pushing the negative thoughts away. The system wouldn't change just from me thinking about what a struggle it was sometimes. And with the exam over, all I could do was wait and hope for the best. And if I didn't make Prime, then I would fight tooth and nail for as long as possible to get wherever I needed to get. To make it into an off-world research team. Also, Fuzzy Bee-Bum, hello, welcome. So there. Okay, no more worrying. I was going to just go home, relax, and take a long hot bath. After 3 weeks of non-stop studying, I deserved the longest and hottest of baths. Also a quiet dinner, a good book, and definitely no schoolwork. Wow, here's my home, check it out, look at my giant painting. Look at my smaller painting that has a little guitar on it that says music. Wow. When I stepped through the door to my apartment, a notification popped up before I even set my things down. I paused, focusing on the message obscuring my vision. Mail? Not just any mail either. Apparently, I had an actual letter rather than a message through the net? How unusual. Dismissing the alert, I pushed the little button by the front door curiously and waited for the mail slot to slide out to reveal its contents. A small, cream-colored envelope was nestled inside. I turned it over in my hands curiously. It was blank, no sender. I ran my fingertips over it, smiling slightly. Paper products weren't terribly uncommon, but they were less efficient. I hadn't gotten a real letter in ages. I pulled the front flap open, wondering who had sent me something like this. Happy birthday! Oh, thank you! It was a large script with a spider web of gold filigree behind it. The workmanship was quite admirable. Delicate swirls traced a careful pattern over the card. Really, it was beautiful. That's right, Chet. Happy birthday to me! But too bad my birthday had been 7 months ago. Someone's a little bit late. I flipped the card open and, with an uncomfortable flutter in my stomach, instantly recognized the familiar handwriting. Uh-oh. Trent! Oh, not Trent! That guy just won't stop! Someone remembered, apparently not Trent. My birthday was 7 months ago. Excuse me? It made sense. Not many people would send me such a late birthday greeting, and he, of course, knew I loved things like this. But it had been nearly a year since I'd heard anything from him at all. So this was the last thing I'd have expected. I skimmed the message, a soft sigh escaping. None of it surprised me. There were apologies for being late, then a standard note hoping I was well, saying he missed me. Ghosted by the ex for over a year. Blah. Ugh. Come on, Trent. That he hoped to talk the next time he was in the capital, which would apparently be soon. And since their years are longer, basically a year and a half, oh geez. Maybe we could see each other, meet up for coffee, and could I please contact him? And finally contact information in his exact location on Seer. Oh no, locked. Choice locked, lacking the stubborn trait. Well, alright, now we get to see. Based upon the personality choices I have picked at the start, it keeps me from picking certain options. There we go. That's right. Locked? I can't do that one. I'm not stubborn enough for it, Chat. Guess what? Confidently, though, I throw the card in the bin. I don't need this. I don't want this. Into the trash it goes. Fuck you, Trent. I hesitated only the briefest of moments before I went to the bin and dropped the card in, listening to the sizzle as it was incinerated. Regret? nudged at my heart, but it was too late, even if I wanted to retrieve it. Also, hello there, La Hisiel. Welcome, hello. A year. It had been a year with no contact whatsoever, and he thought he could send a card and suddenly we could meet and talk? No. Not the case. Where had he been a year ago? 6 months ago? You know, even 7 months ago when it was my actual birthday? Come on, yeah. Shaking my head, Trent. Yes, you're a strong, independent woman, and you don't need no Trent. I pinched the bridge of my nose, trying to swallow down the bitterness I thought I'd already gotten over. When he'd left, I hadn't been angry at first. Not really. He hadn't done anything wrong, and being angry at him was unfair anyway. He'd wanted to do first-hand research on espers for as long as I'd known him, and when he made the 4th prime tier, we both knew there was a chance he'd be asked to join a program in another city. There weren't many places you could study the so-called fairy espers. So when the invitation came, it wasn't a surprise. Well, I mean, sort of. I just hadn't expected that other city to be on the moon. Even so, it's not like I expected him to reject the opportunity. Not for me. Not for anyone. But still, a year without a word? I'd gotten one message to say he'd landed safely and then nothing. Not a note saying where he'd be working or living. Not a single note to see how I was. He didn't even break up with me properly. Even if he didn't think we could work something out, if he didn't think a long-distance relationship could work, I deserved some kind of closure. So this Trent guy was just like, wow, I got this big opportunity. Well, bye, girlfriend. And then he leaves, and then nothing. Nothing from him. Frickin' Trent. The lore of this game is hurting me. Just take notes. Long distance cacophony. I mean, that's what the distance part is all about. Instead, I got a quick peck on the cheek at the station and then silence. I spent weeks hoping to hear from him. Something. Anything. Months hoping he was okay and being torn over whether I should ask his parents or if that would be creepy. Your boyfriend... Caco. Me. Your boyfriend has left to go off on this opportunity and you're just sitting around wondering, should I ask his parents what he's doing or would that be... You're his girlfriend. It would have been fine. I think it's only creepy if you're constantly contacting them about it or something. You know, like every day you're like, so what about Trent? The next day, so what about Trent? Next day, so what about Trent now? You know? And now out of nowhere, he was asking if I wanted to meet up because he missed me? What about when I had been missing him, huh? Sour feeling clawed at my heart, and I took a slow breath as I pushed the bin shut again. No. I wasn't going to be prying back open that part of my life, much less jumping back into it. I'm ready for new boys. I move forward. Also, thank you for following, Lore. Appreciated. I shut my eyes and tried to quash the guilt. It was over and done with. No reason to regret it now. Any of it. Sorry, Trent. He had walked away, and in the end, so had I. Happy birthday indeed, 7 months ago. There's a difference between where the fuck is Trent? And I haven't heard from Trent. Is he okay? Yeah, big difference. I made my way to the sofa, shedding clothes as I went along. So tired. Oh my, look at me, just casually taking a nap on my couch now. I flopped down on the pillows, letting out a soft groan. And now that I was down, I didn't actually want to move again. I could just sleep there. For the next 7 to 10 days. And then I sleep. For a week. I opened my eyes, staring up at the ceiling, a slight smile coming to my lips. This was to extra showcase the customizable main character. Nice. Well, not that long. I'd never hear the end of it if I missed the party for my maybe having made Prime Tier. And besides, I was pretty sure if I didn't get up and find some food, my stomach was going to devour itself. No, it's fine. Just sleep through it. Sleep through the hunger. I sat up and finally made my way to the cupboards to see what I actually had in the house that could potentially qualify as a quiet dinner. I too sleep for days at a time when depressed. Yeah. Ignore hunger, drink water. Well, there's a way to save money too, then. And TV, hello, welcome. I'm awake, I swear. What's happening and why do I feel a mild dislike for somebody named Trent? I look over in Trent's direction, raising an eyebrow. In the meantime, I flipped on the news with a small flick of my hand because watching it in my head while trying to work out dinner would have been a nightmare. One ear was on the impressively coiffed man, on what the impressively coiffed man was saying about another terrorist attack in a New Albion, this time much closer to the cities at the eastern edge of the Twilight Wastes. And they'd shut down another drug cartel in Cessalis. Crimson got the blame for them both, as they usually did. This right here is like epilogue, or not epilogue, prologue. Gotta drop down all the exposition over all of the different lore bits, you know? Another reason to get off-world as soon as I can. I huffed in dissatisfaction as I stared down my cupboard. It was pretty empty, to say the least. Unless you counted one foil packet of biscuits and a tin of mixed vegetables. Pathetic. If you right-click on those highlighted words, do you mean right-click and it brings up something extra? I know if you left-click on it, it brings up a full, just, description lore read for it. I mean, to be fair, I hadn't really had time to place any orders or do any shopping before the exam. For the last few weeks, I'd been eating mostly toast or whatever stray pieces of fruit I could find. Right-click in general for the sidebar menu. Yep. Mum would kill me if she knew. Or at least lecture me about maintaining a proper diet. Oh, Mom, it's fine. It's fine, Mum. Well, now what? Delivery schedules for the nearby market were predictably filled, which meant I'd have to go shopping in person or eat out. Oh, no. In-person shopping? Aw, jeez. I haven't really done that much lately. There was a new bistro nearby that I'd been wanting to try. Couldn't hurt to put the shopping off another day and do something fun instead. That was the whole point of tonight. Relaxing and fun. This is the real nightmare. Going out in public. I sweat nervously. Though I had been looking forward to dinner without pants. Pantsless dinner. Then my much anticipated bath. With bubbles and candles. And most definitely a good book. Quick, where's my outside face? Put on the makeup, put on the makeup. Who eats pantsless? Why? Apparently I do. I always eat pantsless. I put down my little bowl of cereal and I'm like, yep, pants are coming off, and just whoosh, there they go. The sun was still shining when I stepped back onto the street. To be fair, the sun was always shining in Cessalis, and the rest of New Albion, and the Triad, and, well, everywhere on this side of the planet because of that whole tidal locked thing. But that wasn't the point. But what if you spill milk on your lap? It means, Welly, all I have to do is wipe it off of my skin rather than be stuck with wet clothing. You know, wet pants. The point was that the biofield had only barely begun to darken and block the blistering light outside. The closest thing this city ever got to night. Wet paint. It would most likely be dark by the time I got home. Darkish, anyway. I started away from my apartment and towards the bistro. Eternal sunlight? Yeah. I don't think this is where you want to be if you're a vampire. My mind wandered as I walked, glancing up at the sky. Though I guess it's not really the sky. The biodome blocked the view of the real sky and filtered out the harmful UV rays. It looked like the sky, so I suppose it was the same thing anyway. I wondered if it looked the same in Delphine. I really wanted to go there someday and see. Not only that, there were ruins there, in some of the wastes closer to the Twilight region. And since I did make a comment about that planetary archaeology earlier, wow, that means I'm into it! But the Delphine government didn't let anyone near them. It was ridiculous that it was easier to go off-world to a planet 50 kilometers away to see ruins than it was to research the ones on Arcalis. But that's what happened when two countries didn't get on, I suppose. In any case, if I could study the ruins in Delphine, I'd rather go to Dion. To finally see something other than simulated day and night, to feel real wind, to see a storm, or the stars. Though that would only be an option if I made it into the prime tier and could continue my studies. So now I was back to thinking about the exam, which kind of defied the purpose of a relaxing evening. Oops. I pushed the thoughts away, determined not to think about it. I was about 2 blocks from home and at a pedestrian walkway between 2 streets when I first noticed the crowd gathered up ahead. I paused, watching curiously as several more people wandered over. All of them were clustered around a large fountain there. A busker, maybe? I saw plenty of them on my way to and from class, though I rarely had time to stop and watch. This one must be pretty good to gather that big a crowd. Too bad it was kind of, blocking the path I needed to take. I drew closer, and instead of hearing a performance of some kind, it actually sounded like someone talking loudly. Though ranting might have been a better term. A demonstration or protest? I suppose it could have been some kind of dramatic performance instead of a musician. I was a little curious, and I needed to go through there anyway. Maybe I should take a minute to find out what was going on, but I wasn't sure I really wanted to bother with the crowd. Oh no, neutral. Join the crowd to see what's going on, squeeze past the crowd as quickly as possible, or take a different... I look at the crowd, I kind of squish up my face, and I'm like, ugh. I avoid it completely. No, never mind. The more I thought about it, the more it looked like a headache. Also, what's it? Hello. This looks like one of them games where people hold hands. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit of hand holding. The crowd was basically blocking the entire path. That looked like it would be a pain to fight against. So after a moment of deliberation, I decided to retrace my steps entirely and take a different path. The shouts and noise from the crowd faded behind the sounds of traffic as I went to the street I just crossed instead. There was an alley back there that I'd go through instead. The crowd was still in view when I reached the alley opening, and as I was about to enter, there was a loud crash like something heavy shattering on the ground. Uh-oh. Alarms blared and shouts went up from the crowd. The wail of sirens sounded in the distance and grew rapidly closer. Chat, what if we held hands while playing the hand-holding game? Oh, just kidding. Unless... Ooh. Someone spilled a big cup of milk? No! If anything, that solidified my decision to try and avoid the situation. Everyone was scattering, and the safety department would arrive in minutes to break up any stragglers. Oh, it's probably for the best. Whatever had been going on there was inevitably going to start disrupting traffic if the crowd got any bigger. I couldn't help but wonder what had happened, though. Maybe it wasn't a performance after all? A riot, maybe? Not my problem. I keep walking. I stepped into the alley and found myself on the narrow path between rows of buildings, now completely cut off from the view of the street. The sirens and commotion had faded out a bit. I started up the slight incline, checking my directions quickly to make sure I was still heading the right way. These paths could become a bit of a labyrinth. And hello there, Sleepless Ronin. Welcome. No need to answer, but when is your birthday? What month is it currently? May? We are, halfway through the year for it. My birthday is in October, at the end of the month. Whee! I hope this bistro is worth the effort. But either way, it was nice to get out of the apartment and just wander around for a while. Hang on. I look at my hair. I look at their hair. Dang, we've got some similar tastes. In a whooshing hairstyle. Edgy and cool! I was about to make another right turn when the sound of hurried footsteps rounded a corner in front of me and a disheveled man came into view. My eyes went wide. He was sopping wet, ragged, and with hair that looked like it hadn't been brushed in some time. And he looked like he was being chased. Uh-oh. I quickly lowered my eyes, heart pounding uncomfortably. It wasn't as if there weren't displaced people in Sasosilis. Unbrushed! I quickly hand him a hairbrush as I shuffle on past. Even New Albion had its issue. It was hardly the utopia the unified triad government had tried to make everyone believe. But you didn't usually see them here. No, wet man, come back! Imagine having your birthday at the end of October. Such fools. Oh. Now I'm gonna feel bad about having an October birthday. Oh, jeez. It wasn't the raggedness that concerned me. It was his eyes. They were a little odd, but from this distance I could see that one was strangely pale, while the other gleamed faintly red in the light. A drug addict? One of the most popular street drugs at the moment could have odd effects on the eyes. The heck is going on today? First there was this big crowd fight, and then I'm running into a possible drug addict. Oh jeez. What day though? I have a book on birthdays and I want to see what it says.
I push up my glasses. It's October 29th. There you go. I'm sure that book on birthdays will be incredibly accurate about me.
I quickly veered to the path on the right, trying not to noticeably speed up my pace. Please just keep going the other way. Please. My heart rose to my throat and lodged there when I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps following me. He didn't try to catch up, but he didn't turn off anywhere else either. He kept pace, staying a short distance behind me. Oh no, now I've got a stalker. I could hear him muttering, catching only snatches of what he was saying. Caco stole my birthday? I mean, I do like stealing birthdays, and that one was the sparkliest and most appealing. It's also the birthday of Bob Ross, I'm pretty sure. I googled Bob Ross birthday. Yes, it is. They don't know, oh wait, the strange man is talking, they don't know. They tried to make me stop, but I'll break it. We'll break it all. The sounds, the songs, I hear them calling, slithering in my head. Oh my god. I clenched my fists to my chest and quickened my steps. That's strange man, get away from him. The footsteps behind me quickened as well. Oh no. Crowns, kings and queens and kings. You can see the truth behind the lies if you open up your eyes and let the stars tell you all their songs. Is there a strange man route? If so, I'm in. I look behind me nervously. I had no idea if he was talking about me or to me, or if he was simply randomly muttering. But something about the way he spoke set me on edge. I finally broke into a run, horrified to hear him immediately do the same. Oh no. Wait! Oh no, I'm not waiting for this. Nope, not doing that. I had lived my entire life in this city without ever feeling like I was in danger, but in that moment, I felt like I was definitely in danger. Wait, come back! I need to be strange! Nope, not with me, thank you! I keep running. And this had to happen tonight of all nights!
Stand your ground.
I can't stand my ground, I don't have any weaponry! Let's see, would you say you have an interest in the inner workings of social groups? I would say maybe I would be interested in, but I wouldn't say it's active at all. I'm like looking over at social groups, you know, rubbing my chin going, I wonder how this works. Unfortunately, for all that he looked like he was about to fall over, that man was fast. Faster than me. Way faster. Uh-oh. I felt like I'd barely gone 5 feet before a hand wrapped around my arm, yanking me backwards. He's closer to me now! I let out a scream as I was spun around and slammed into the wall. Ah! You. Let go of me! My voice went high-pitched and frantic as I struggled to get away from him. Come, my lovely lady Nye. You can hear them in your mind. Open up your eyes. Listen to their whispers. You can hear them. Please let me go! He cupped a grimy hand around my face, leaning in extremely close, pressing his face to the side of my head. I'm not what's holding you down. Come to sit with me on Neptune's yellow sands. We can find them, you and I. What? What? You're one of us. I don't know what you're talking about! His hand tightened painfully on my upper arm. You know? I don't! I really don't! I desperately needed to call for help, but I didn't want to take my eyes off him long enough to place a call with the safety department. I could send an emergency beacon, but the man pulled me back and slammed me against the wall. You can't! Don't call. Don't call them back! I have to go. They're waiting. All of them. The court. It's waiting. The court? That group obsessed with espers? I thought they were more of a Delphine problem. I didn't know we had them here as well. There was a shout from somewhere towards the street. The sound of something falling. The man looked that way for a split second, and I took the opportunity to twist away from him and run. Wait! Why did people chasing you always shout for you to wait as if you were going to quietly comply? I don't think so! I keep running! His footsteps were coming after me again, and we know that that guy's faster than I am, so he, might catch up with me? Yeah, I hear them. They say you're a little bitch and to let me go. The voices. Even with the people in Discord eyeballing him and poking at her, Fountain Man isn't smoochable. Wait. How was he running so fast? If I could just, you know, get a little further. My boot caught on something and I hit the ground with a shriek. Ah! Now, oh no, now I'm on the ground and he's on top of me. Strange, man, stop it. Chat, I'm beginning to think taking the alternate route might have been a bad idea. The man was on top of me again in seconds. No! A tremor rippled through my body, and from somewhere above, glass shattered and came cascading down. I curled up, lifting my arms over my head as we were showered with broken glass. The man screamed as several shards cut into his arms and face. I kept waiting for the bite of pain, but nothing. There was a scuffle of footsteps, and then the sound of the man retreating quickly. Oh, a new boy. Batman? Well, maybe? Is this a new Batman? I looked up cautiously, freezing when I realized that there was someone else there as well. Oh, hello there, new boy. Where had he come from? The action waiter. There was edits of this guy to look like Colonel Sanders. Oh my god. The man standing over me was much taller and much better dressed. He was sort of bent over me with one arm lifted as if shielding me from the glass? But how? Where had he come from? He lowered the arm and, after a beat, offered me his hand to help me stand. Oh, no. I stay here, confidently, thanking him. Thank you. I didn't even know what I was thanking him for. Scaring off the other man? Shielding me? All of the above? I took his hand and pulled myself to my feet. Our hero! Are you all right? You fell. I'm all right. I don't think I'm hurt. My ankle was a bit sore from having tripped, but I didn't think it was sprained or anything. I gave the man another curious look. He had the most amazing silvery hair. I was so busy looking at that it took a moment to notice the small cut on his face. Uh-oh. Wounded? Imperfect! I can't date him now. Or does that make him more appealing to date? Because now he's got some battle damage, he's hardcore now. But you are, because you shielded me from that glass, probably. Guilt washed over me as I looked up at the shattered window 1 story above us. You were attacked a mere moment ago, and now you're worried about a stranger? Well, you're hurt. I'm not. He touched the cut on his face, his expression barely changing. Oh, this is nothing. It's only a scratch. Oh, let me see. I pulled him down to my level to inspect the cut on his cheek. He lifted an eyebrow and gently removed my hands from his shoulders as he straightened. I looked at it. Looking at it isn't going to help anyway. I can have it treated at a clinic later, if necessary. But what if it was a huge cut and it was just gushing blood all over the place? And he's like, it's fine. It's fine. Just staring at it is going to help me.
Well, come on. At least then we would know, how damaged it is and how quickly you need to rush over to a clinic,
Well, that was true, but I just wanted to see if there was still glass in the cut. Still, you got it from helping me. It doesn't make you responsible. It was I who chose to jump up in at that moment. Where did you even come from? I didn't realize anyone else was around. Oh, I happened to be nearby and heard you cry out. Well, thank you for intervening. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't. Batman.
Oh my god, he is Batman!
I glanced worriedly over my shoulder. Well, he seems to have fled for the time being. The time being? Well, I can't say he won't return, which is why you should head home if you're otherwise all right. Yeah, I wasn't much in the mood for dinner out anymore anyway, which means I still haven't eaten, and I'm like, hey, I guess it's time to go back home. And I'm gonna end up going back home and being like, stomach rumbling, being like, oh jeez, but I haven't eaten. And then I'm gonna have to go back out anyway. Do I at least get to learn your name? I am Ariel Vaughn, though many simply call me Ari. You may as well, if you wish. I'm Cacophony! Alright, it's a lot better when it is actually appearing here in text with the little space between it. It's too perfect. Though many simply call me Daddy. Oh jeez, that's too soon! And I just want to thank you again for helping me, Mr. Vaughn. That makes that the 3rd time you've thanked me. I can thank you as much as I want, and you can't stop me! He didn't smile at that, but merely cocked an eyebrow as he studied my face. You get home all right? I don't live far away. As long as I don't get accosted again on the way home, I should be fine. It's the being accosted again part that concerns me. Well, generally speaking, yeah, that would be the problem, wouldn't it? Perhaps I should go with you at least part of the way. I hesitated. I mean, I didn't exactly know this Ariel guy, Vaughn guy either, but he had helped me, and it seemed a bit weird that he'd helped me only to try to assault me himself. But what if he set this all up? What if it's all a scheme, Besides, he didn't seem the type. I wasn't really much for reading vibes or whatever, but he didn't give off a threatening one.
Alright, if you don't mind.
I wouldn't offer if I minded.
Fair enough.
I don't know, there are some people out there that will totally be like, hey, do you want help with this thing? And only do so for the clout. You know, they're like, I swear I totally want to help you. When in actuality, they're just trying to be a good or appear like they're a good person, and they don't actually want to do anything. Vibe check. This dude is clean. And with that, I awkwardly wove my way back through the alley in the direction I'd come. Wait. What is it? You're limping. You are injured.
What? No, I'm fine. Really. I turned my ankle when I fell, and I'm pretty sure I bruised up both my knees, but it's nothing serious.
You shouldn't be walking on that.
Come on, Harry. Stop whining at me. I can take care of it.
I stomped my foot on the ground. Insight check. Colonel Ari, give him a little goatee and we good. Hang on. Alright, a little goatee. Yeah. Alright, a little closer. There we go. Right here. Alright, how's this?
Where's my eraser? There it is.
There we go. Alright, how are we looking now? Doesn't Colonel Saunders dyed it red? Of course. It's cooler that way, and we all know how hip and slick Colonel Sanders is with the kids. You know? I have to... There we go. Okay, cursor. Clean. Got it. I bet Ari has a seasoning with at least 7 herbs and spices. Oh my.
It's fine. I mean, it just hurts a little. I'll put it up for the rest of the evening when I get back.
Let me have a look at it.
Look, you already made the comment about I shouldn't look at your scratch on your face because what's looking going to do about it anyway? And now you're saying I want to look at your ankle? You're just a pervert trying to peek at my ankle. Oh my god.
I gave him a teasing grin, amused at his concern when he'd been so dismissive of mine for that cut on his face.
Looking at it isn't going to help. I can always get it checked at a clinic later if I need to.
Your own words. I'm wagging my finger at him. He frowned, still not cracking even a hint of a smile. If I see that it's swollen, I could try to hail a cab for you instead of walking.
I literally live 2 blocks from here.
He took my elbow and led me to a nearby step, motioning me for me to sit. I hesitated, then did so because it seemed like he wasn't going to let it go. He's looking at me. He crouched in front of me and pulled my foot onto his knee, gently easing off my boot. I winced as he started poking around on my ankle in a decidedly not doctor-like way. I studied his face as he examined my ankle, amused by the serious expression. My gaze landed on the cut again, which already had a thin line of crusted over blood.
This guy's just a pervert, and he's trying to look at my feet, Chet. What the heck?
Without thinking, I slid my fingers under his jaw, forcing him to look up as I leaned a bit closer just to check if there was any glass still lodged in here. Now I'm the pervert, and I'm trying to get a closer look at his face. I kiss him. Fortunately, it didn't look like a bad cut. He'd been right about that, and no shards of glass that I could see. I wasn't exactly a doctor. That fella kinda looks like Ellen DeGeneres. I'm looking at him. I think it's mostly the hair color and the style of it that gives that look. I realized he had completely frozen and was staring at me with eyes that were an amazing shade of gray. Oh my. With little flecks of green. I suddenly realized what I was doing and instantly released his face. Awkward. Oh, sorry. The cut doesn't look that bad. And neither does your ankle. I don't believe it's sprained. I told you that much. He looked away as he bent to put my shoe back on. Then he quietly stood and offered his hand again. You're fine walking. You can at least lean on me for support if you need to. I think I'll be fine. I started to lead the way again, and Ari fell into step beside me. I could feel his eyes on me as if he was making sure I wasn't limping too much. I did my best to not limp at all. So, Mr. Vaughn, what do you do when you're not rescuing women in alleys? We know each other for less than 10 minutes and he saw feet? Oh, heck. Oh, jeez. Not much. Was that so? Did that mean he led a really boring life or a really exciting life? He is Batman, Chet. He just runs around saving women from alleyways. And since I specifically said, hey, do you do anything else besides that? He doesn't do anything else besides that. He only goes out saving women from alleyways. Feet first or no date. That sounds interesting, I think. We walked in silence until we were back out on the street. There was still a commotion down by the fountain area, but the crowd had dispersed. So, what were you doing in that alley anyway? You heard the incident down there? He nodded towards the roundabout with the fountain at the end of the block. I heard it. I didn't see what happened. I was trying to go around it. Ah, I see. Well, the cause of it was that man. Wait, you were chasing him? He wasn't in uniform, so I didn't think he was from the safety department. But I suppose he could have been an investigator instead of an officer. Not exactly. What did that mean? It didn't seem like he was going to give any more information than that. Do you think he was, on drugs? His eyes looked a little strange. He was an Esper. Kind of looked back and forth. Okay. That would probably explain why he was so fast. Not to mention strong, but it made the way he had talked to me even more worrisome. I sighed softly. I suppose I should send in a report when I get home. I hope they catch him. He probably should be put somewhere that he can get treatment. He's a LARPing empath. Please. I'm sure they've already gotten a clear description of him whether you sent a report or not. There were many witnesses to the incident at that fountain. Even so, it was easy to say things like,
Sassasalis is a safe city.
until you were confronted head-on by its problems. It didn't take us long to reach my building. Ari stayed with me the entire time despite saying he would only walk me part of the way, though neither of us said much the rest of the way. I think Ari might have just been trying to figure out where I live. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Sassopolis, more like cesspool.
I stopped a short way from my door. You didn't have to walk me all the way back. Well, it's fine. How else would I figure out where you live so I can kidnap you later? Thank you. Don't forget to elevate your ankle, Miss Phony. Miss Phony. I won't forget. And you don't forget to properly clean and doctor that cut. I won't. He nodded and turned on his heel, heading back the way we'd come without another word. He was kind of an odd man. Kind, but also sort of quiet and remote. I watched him for a few minutes before shivering and heading inside. It was distressing how rapidly this evening went completely to hell. Definitely our real name, not a fake name at all. No. Cacophony? This is a real name. It's my name, in fact. No pseudonyms here. No. What game is this? Gilded Shadows. It just came out the other day. Hello there, John. Welcome. And I'm still hungry, damn it. Look, see, this is exactly what I said was going to happen. I was like, oh, I'm not really in the mood for eating out anymore. And then what am I when I get home? Hungry. And now I'm stuck without, what did I have? Some crackers and a couple of pieces of vegetables or something? It looked like it was going to be takeout for me. Ooh. Griffin. The Paladin. At least there's biscuits and mixed veggies. Okay, I see. This is Paladin saying Griffin. Where the hell are you? I encountered the target after the incident at the fountain. Figures. Confirmed telekinetic ability. What are the next steps? I'll contact Ivory Tower. It's Merlin's call. But I'm pretty sure I saw a jackal lurking. Gave chase, but he managed to escape. So, Crimson is moving in. I doubt they're the only ones. We'll need to act soon. Understood? I'll be standing by. End communication. Cookies probably, since biscuits can also mean that. Well, that's even better. Come on, dessert then. Just got home from work. Got a McGriddle. Oh hell yeah. Tasty. End communication. I lay on my bed, staring up at the ceiling, unable to sleep. I kept replaying the evening's events. That man, his face, that look in his eyes as he looked at me. The way that window shattered. I rolled over, trying to find a comfortable spot to no avail. I flipped my pillow over, pressing my face against the cool fabric, but it didn't help at all. Somehow I felt strange, feverish. It had been a while since something like that had happened, and it had never happened out in public before. Wait. Phrased like that, it makes it sound a little bit like somebody has been chasing me before, but not out in public. The last time I got chased? No. It was like in my house when I was getting robbed. So is this like a crime-based dating sim or something? Nah, it's more of a fantasy type dating sim. With fantasy politics, maybe? Solar punk. There you go. Though I suppose I didn't usually have that frightening an experience in public either. Ugh, just wanted to stop thinking about it. I finally flopped on my back, staring at the ceiling. Query. There was a little chime in my head, acknowledging the command. Cross-reference Shakespeare and Neptune's Yellow Sands. Information flitted through my head, and a soft ping alerted me that the search had found something. Transfer to display. I rolled over and picked up the display screen from my table as I propped myself up on my elbows. My eyes narrowed slightly as I read the writing there. A Midsummer Night's Dream! Aha! That's what the name of that play was. It had been such a long time since we've covered Shakespeare. Wait, fantasy dating sim? Goblin fucker. No. No, there's no goblins. Titania, a queen of fairies. Anxiety stirred in the pit of my stomach again. Fairy espers. I didn't know much about them except that their genetic markers and brain structure were a bit different from the norm. And queens were one of the top-ranked esper levels. Pull up Earth mythology on the topic of fairies. I flicked the light on and sat up in bed, wondering if I should make myself some tea. Definitely. If I couldn't sleep, I might as well stay up and read for a while. I mean, hey, it's like a vacation week while you wait for your test results anyway. Come on. And hello there, Gray. Welcome. Ari was pretty goblin-like, getting his hands all over her feet. God damn it, Gray.
I don't think that counts.
I tried my best to drown the anxieties by immersing myself in the ancient stories of a world millions of light years away and thousands of years old. I don't know how long I read before I finally set the display aside and went to sleep. Oh, look at that! Chapter 2, Captured Queen? Is this the part where I get kidnapped now? Oh boy, I can't wait! And since we're at the end of the chapter here, I think this is then a good time. I need to take a short bathroom break here. So...
Oh, it's also very quiet. There's like no music playing. Let me go ahead and I'll just pop up the intro music too. That way...
that can play while I'm stepping away here? There we go. I will be right back, chat. I'm also going to go ahead and play an ad at the same time. That way we also eliminate pre-rolls, since we're taking a BRB break anyway. I'll be right back.
Holding.
I'm back. Maybe I should have had the music volume a little bit lower, because I see as you're using the text-to-speech again. And you would have heard it better. Huh?
If I catch any one of you degenerates holding hands, I will release the deadly neurotoxins, instantly killing every non-skeleton in the room. Then I will send in a skeleton to mop you all up. Marge. And
GLaDOS? What? Huh? What was that at the end? What? What? Was GLaDOS breaking down? Was she getting hacked? Oh dear. Also, thank you, Sarah. Forward to welcome back. Yo, GLaDOS text-to-speech? Fucking pog, dude. Yes, the new text-to-speech I have. Yeah, as I type in chat. Oh, look, Polly typed at the same time, too. Well, except the bot doesn't even respond. Thanks, bot. There we go. All right, perfect. Okay, see? There's different voices you can... God damn it, princess. There's different voices that you can use for the text-to-speech, and GLaDOS is one of them. So there you go. It jinx! Now both of you can't talk, Pog! Oh, no. It looks so close. Oh, my God.
Fine, I will say it. You are my little pog champ. You are my little champ. Chow, chow, chow. I'm...
What? It's breaking down. Huh? Huh? GLaDOS? What are you doing, GLaDOS? I don't know what that was. What the fuck? Is text-to-speech okay? Is GLaDOS running out of batteries? That's good to know. Now I can finally live out my GLaDOS fantasies. Oh, I mean, make her say silly things like the way. Uh-oh, princess. Oh, no.
Pog champ, pog champ, pog champ, champug.
I'm, like, sweating nervously, looking around, being like, is that all? Is GLaDOS gonna properly finish? Okay. It sounds like she's not going to continue breaking down whispering from low batteries. Alright. Alright. We return to the game. Dang it! Princess says that's what she wanted! I'm waiting for the text-to-speech to break down enough that a message just gets cut off. It's done, and then 20 minutes later, she jump scares us all. Oh my god.
Help, I am running low on battery.
Can someone go out and get some new AA's for good old GLaDOS over here? She's running low on power. Alright. Morning came way too soon. I didn't have to be up early, but my brain was trained to wake up at a specific hour. Even without my alarm, my eyes popped open an hour after daylight. I was just lucky I didn't have to actually get up and go to class. I rolled over for the 20th time, mashing my face into the pillow in the hope I could suffocate myself back to sleep, or maybe just into a coma. Wait. You need some chloroform for that. I wasn't picky. Ugh. I lifted my head and glared at the display panel on my bedside table. I'd stayed up far too late reading about Earth's fairy mythology. It had been a pretty fascinating read, actually. The store only had batteries. Oh, but GLaDOS doesn't run on batteries. She doesn't have those little wheels set up, you know? The alternate power source where you just run on the little wheel all the time. Tame. Well, I think there goes the joke. But as I flopped onto my back, throwing an arm across my eyes to block out the daylight, I was definitely doubting the decision to stay up until who knows when. 4 o'clock hadn't been the best time for reading, but it had gotten my mind off the evening's events prior to that. And that had been kind of the point. Caco turns into Cacona. Abandon the batteries. Bring in the ratteries. Still, probably hadn't been a good idea when I was going to wake up at 4 o'clock, so I slept 3 hours, essentially a very long nap. I finally gave up and rolled out of bed with another groan. I just have to catch a nap later on. Well, might as well try to just throw my entire sleep schedule out while I'm at it. I I yawned and stumbled to the kitchen for oh yeah, no food. A glass of water then. Because I still didn't have anything else in the house. Last night had too many distractions. I'd been too freaked out to place an order for groceries, which meant the kitchen was still empty. And a quick check confirmed all the morning slots were already taken. That's student life. That meant going shopping in person even though I didn't really want to. I turned on the news as I leaned against the counter and yawned into my glass of water. No! Oh man, now my water is gonna taste like yawns. A woman's face fuzzed into view, hovering over the image from last night. The image was of the fountain where I'd seen the crowd clustered the night before. Several officers were standing around it, talking to one another and a few random onlookers. The anchor began to discuss the young woman assaulted in an alley by an unregistered Esper after the onlookers dispersed and the culprit fled. The scene shifted to the alley where I'd encountered that man. Nice. And to my embarrassment, there was definitely a recording of the incident. Wah. Watching a censored version of myself flail my way away from an attacker was definitely how I wanted to start my day. Though I should be grateful I was censored, but I still felt my cheeks grow uncomfortably warm, as if my kitchen appliances were judging the way I'd forgotten every self-defense move I knew when faced with an actual assailant. Stop judging me, kitchen appliances! Toaster, don't look at me like that! Oven, no! Look away from me! Oh, heck. Oh, jeez. It's not the same when you're facing someone in an alley and not a gym with protective gear and mats on the floor. Seeing the report reminded me to check if the information I sent in last night had gone through. You were in public when Ari saw your feet. That means others could have. No! Oh, that's even worse. I glanced back over at the toaster, and the toaster just... If it had a finger, it would be wagging at me right now. Since there's a game I know where one of the smoochable dudes is named Naked Toaster, and has a whole different meaning. Oh my god. I met the glass of water down and pulled up a visual of any messages left while I'd been sleeping. Sure enough, there were two from the safety department. One was one of those silly messages notifying me that I'd sent in a report, as if I didn't already know I sent in a report. The other was a notification informing that, as a witness, I would need to come in at my earliest convenience to answer some questions in person. I made a face at that. It wasn't really convenient at all, but I didn't think I'd get out of it if I'd think I'd get out of it, I responded with that. Okay. I should probably just get it over with. Well, there goes my afternoon. Hopefully there wasn't too much they needed to ask. They already had footage of it all, so I wasn't sure what else I could tell them in a face-to-face interview. Beyond potentially implicating myself in the shattering of someone's window with my mind, of course. Oops. Which I really did not want to do today. Or ever. I closed the interface and frowned at the news report, catching just the tail end. It said nothing about my rescuer. They didn't show any footage of him either. And why didn't they discuss that my attacker was an Esper? Perhaps that man, Ari, was mistaken? Well, I hoped not, because then the shattered window would be much more difficult to explain, and I didn't want to have to lie about it. For the time being, they were pinning it all on drug use and suggesting it was evidence of another small crime ring in the city related to Crimson. Then again, they would pin everything on Crimson if they could. They insisted every crime in Delphine had its roots in Crimson, and the organization allegedly had its claws pretty deep in New Albion as well. But I guess it would be up to the criminal division of the safety department. Everything on the news was ultimately speculation. I wasn't looking forward to answering their questions at all. Hopefully one interview was all they would need. It wasn't like anything terrible had happened to me. And I didn't want to make a bigger deal of it than necessary. they expected me to agree to press charges, they were going to be disappointed. I just wanted him to get some help. I didn't want to get him into trouble, though I guess that was inevitable regardless of what I did. I bit back another yawn. If I didn't hurry and get the shopping done, I'd run out of time. But there was still an opportunity for a late brunch if I could beat the crowds this morning. This time, I'll just stick close to home, though. There was a grocer at the end of the block, and they had a hydroponic garden, so you could pick your own produce, which was fantastic. Fresh vegetables, check. All for me. After that, I suppose I'd have to go give my statement in person. I leaned on the counter, rubbing a finger against my lower lip. I needed to carefully plan what I was going to tell them, though I didn't think sounding too rehearsed was wise. I didn't want to reveal that I could have been responsible for that window shattering like that. I had managed to keep that little fact swept under the rug for so long. Far too long to be outed now. Though it wouldn't exactly have been the first time I'd caused something like that was for sure. I placed the glass in the sink and went to get dressed. It was just that. There weren't many people who knew I was an Esper. Trent was the only one I'd ever told. Even Mum didn't know. And as far as I knew, no one else in my family had ever exhibited anything other than the planetary standard of 1-2 on the EA scale.
The early access scale? The electronic arts scale? Huh?
Oh, you are an Esper? Apparently. My brothers and parents were normal. Grandparents, cousins, none of them ranked high enough to be considered a true Esper. As for myself, I didn't know what my exact score might be. I certainly had the ability. I'd even tested positive in one of the many assessments we'd had back in primary. But when they did the genetic test and scans, I didn't have any physiological indicators. A reassessment of my practical ability didn't show any side traits, so I'd been labeled a false positive. Oops, which is apparently inaccurate. Apparently I am an Esper anyway. But I wasn't. There had always been little incidents throughout the years. Nothing major. Nothing I couldn't hide from most people anyway. Except the one incident. But I don't like to talk about that. I hadn't planned to tell Trent either. He only found out because we'd lived together for a while. And it was hard to hide it from someone interested in studying Espers. But he had kept it a secret. If anyone could understand why I might want to, he could. Even he had doubted that I'd ranked much over 3 or 4 in the EA scale. Nothing I'd ever managed to do indicated I could be stronger than that. As a child, even that would have been enough to get Endgame's attention, and I didn't want to be recruited for this ability by them or anyone else. I just never wanted that. Of course you didn't. Oh, Caco. In actuality, I look at myself in the mirror, rubbing my hands together, wishing I was max ranking as an Esper. Then I could take over the world. Endgame's work was important. They were the Planetary Defense Organization. They helped keep the peace across our Callus, Sire, Dion. I'd heard they even made it up to the new Terra station, and those guys rarely wanted anything to do with us surface dwellers. In its own way, it was incredible and fascinating. That just wasn't the path I'd chosen. I wanted to go where I wanted to go, not where I was told to go. That's right, I'm a free spirit. I do what I want.
Where's my marker? Down here a little bit more, like, that's too low.
Angry eyebrows. There, that's me angry. I wanted to do research, to learn about the history of this world, not be some sort of psychic soldier. But more than anything, I think my fear had always been that I'd be chained down by this ability, that I wouldn't be me anymore, I'd be an Esper. I don't want that. I didn't want to be defined by that. But there would probably be no choice if people knew about me. Espers made up such a small portion of the population, far less than even 1%. Even the weaker ones were highly valued. Plenty of organizations wanted low or mid-level infantry that managed to avoid being recruited to endgame. And ranked Espers?
Psychic powers, hot twinks. This is just like one of my Japans and I'm Zaire.
Animes? Such powers? Oh, jeez. Except this game has male nip-naps! Oh no! My Japanese animes hardly ever have those! Oh jeez, I'm wiping the sweat off my brow! The text-to-speech is low on batteries. In very high demand if you somehow manage to use your connections to dodge endgame. But all those jobs were the same. Security, contract and business negotiations, law enforcement. Ugh. If I had been discovered as a child, that's all that would have awaited me. So I kept it secret, thinking that if I could just hide it until I was out of school, I'd be fine. Adults had way more leverage than children when it came to that sort of thing. And so far, it had never been a problem. No Esper barbers or Esper burgers. Oh. Male nip-naps? Oh, fucking Christ, mate. Right. Oh. Alright, now that I've had some time to cool down, you know, maybe a little less angry now. I paused just outside the door to my building and took a long, slow breath to clear my head. I would just have to hide it, as I always had. Besides, I'd never tested positive again after that one time. Where's the TTS option with the horrible Cockney accent? God dang it, now I wish that was one. With the situation at hand, they had no... I pause. You know what they do have, though, Princess? They don't have Cockney, but they do have... When I looked up and saw the eyebrows, I nearly choked on my drink. She was mad! I don't have it turned on. Could turn it on. They have a French voice. Oui. I sneak over. I flick the on option for one of the enabled voices. It's saving. It's doing the little load option. And hello there, Mr. Pumpkin. Hey, welcome. This shows all the way. It doesn't show all of them, Welly. It shows all of the voices that I have enabled. And I didn't have the French voice enabled. So give me a second here. As I flip, there we go. I need to refresh the page because it came disconnected. I go over to the text-to-speech alerts and I refresh the cache. Okay. Alright. That's right, I don't have all of them on. I have ones that I more recognize. Like, I'm looking at them, they have Kanye, for example. And I'm not up on the Kanye lore. So there's less humor for me there. So I don't have that one turned on. Fair. Yeah. Alright. Now, if you want... Oh, wait, there you go. No.
Mon oncle a les baguettes.
Wow, thanks, Princess. What a first usage of the French one. A French voice. Wow. With the situation at hand, they had no reason to jump to any specific conclusions about me. It would be fine. I would be fine. Telling myself that, I decided to get on with my day and not dwell on it. There was a man talking, or arguing, with the building security when I stepped outside. I might have completely ignored them as I stepped around them. But there was a second man nearby, his hair fading.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Oh, princess, you forgot to actually turn on the French voice. So it was just Brian reading that one super quietly. I don't know why the default Brian voice speaks so much quieter than the other text-to-speech voices, but it makes it a little bit harder to volume balance them. I don't think 300 text-to-speech messages is enough for 1 month. I think it should be, just because I only stream on the weekends. Maybe if I streamed every day, it would be a different situation. There we go. Alright, princess.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Oh, that was pretty well written. Thanks, French AI voice. There was a second man nearby, his hair fading from silver at the roots to pink at the ends. Merci beaucoup, ma petite skeleton. Oh. I nodded politely as I passed, my thoughts turning towards shopping and the things I was going to purchase. But I didn't get very much further down the footpath.
Hold on. Wait, miss, wait.
My heart started thumping against my ribs at the sound of an unfamiliar man just behind me. Even though he wasn't strange or bedraggled, and he wasn't threatening me, I turned back hesitantly. Ooh, not a bad man. Yes? Hey, wait a second. That was one of the smiling men, right? Winter, you're scared. Or is it like W or are we thinking the V? Winter? You're scaring her. Wait, what? The pink-haired man looked startled at the very thought that maybe it wasn't a great idea to run after a woman while shouting at her. The dark-haired man quickly joined him, flicking his worried gaze back to me. I like his sideburns. He shoved his hands in his pockets and offered an uncertain smile. Wait, I only see one hand shoved into his pocket here. A liar. I apologize if my partner startled you, but you're cacophony, correct? It wasn't a question. I narrowed my eyes as I returned his frank gaze. He was fairly well dressed and tidy.
Sideburns are always a plus.
Oh yeah. I paused for a moment. I was like, wait, what finger is that? That's just a pointer finger ring. That means he's single, right? The pink-haired man beside him was dressed more casually, making the two of them an unusual pair. But nothing about their attire gave any clues to who they might be. Your partner? I'm Ruben Kellner, a special investigator with Utpol. This is my partner, Winter Ashton. You can check your interface to verify our identities. I bit my lip and did just that. And sure enough, like all public employees, their identification was openly available. That would also explain how they knew who I was. Winter is a Kickstarter backer, non-love interest character. Oh. No white, pink-haired man to date. But Ruben, guy on the right, is one of the 3 future routes. One day, Mr. Sideburns, we can date you. Maybe next time, then. I bit my lip. Oh, wait, I read that. Their positions would have allowed them access to my information as well. Special investigators, huh? I didn't mean to run after you like that, but your doorman wouldn't let us in. Ruben here had been arguing with him for 10 minutes already. When I saw you come out, I just followed without thinking. You can date the Sandwich Man? Wait, what? Sandwich Man? Oh, Ruben. Oh, god dang it, Willie. Oh Oh my god. Building security is fairly tight, so... You're a student living alone as well. I'm sure they're extra cautious when people come looking for you.
I don't know about that. There's just a process unexpected visitors have to go through, that's all.
This unexpected meeting had me on edge again. Why would they come looking for me if I was supposed to go in for an interview anyway? I must have looked as nervous as I felt, because Venter gave me a sheepish grin as he took a step away, tipping his head in the direction the fountain incident had taken place. Reuben, I think I'll head down to the crime scene and have a look around, if you don't mind. It's not that far from here. You can handle this on your own, right? I'll be fine. We'll catch up later. See you. It was nice to meet you, Miss Phony. Stop it! If you say it that way, it sounds mean! Play your cards right and he'll make you a sandwich with extra mayo. Gray. Cursed. Hell. Ugh. Ugh. Oh my.
No, stop it!
He started away from us with a slow jog. Reuben watched him until he was gone before he turned back to me. Sorry about that, Miss Phony. We have a lot of ground to cover today. Though the abruptness with which Venter left made it fairly apparent it was more for my benefit than anything. He had a dimple. Yeah, look at it. Hang on, wait. Enhance. There it is. Right there. The little dimple.
It's all right. But I hope you realize I already received a request to give a statement about the incident last night. I didn't realize someone would be stopping by.
Well, this morning they turned the incident over to our department, and I'm not sure they'd have informed you before your scheduled interview. I wanted to talk to you personally, so we decided to stop by while we were in the area. Unless you're too busy at the moment.
Neutral. It's not that I'm busy, but I am starving. I haven't eaten in forever.
I'm really sorry, but I'm actually busy right now. Or, I'll come by this afternoon, as planned. I'm busy right now? I need to do grocery stopping? Shopping. It's not the same thing. I'm not stopping the groceries. I'm shopping for them. Oh, Caco.
Actually, I did have some important errands that I need to get out of my way right now. I was planning to come in for a statement later this afternoon already.
Caco, there is a Reuben in front of you, since you are hungry. Oh, jeez, I'm blushing. Stop it!
If the case had been handed over to your department, I can come give a statement at whatever location you prefer. But right now is a bit... Oh.
Of course, I understand. I'll send the details to you right now. I'm sorry to bother you. We have a temporary space we're using while we're in town, so I prefer to have you stop by there. I know the incident yesterday must have been harrowing. We would like to catch the culprit as quickly as possible.
I understand. I don't wish to hold up your investigation. I'm not sure my statement is going to add much more to what you've already seen on the recordings, but as soon as I'm finished with my morning errands, I'll come by.
All right. Thank you, Miss Phony. He held out a hand, and I hesitated for only a brief moment before I shook it. He smiled pleasantly before he waved and headed off. I received the address for his office through the net a few seconds later, and, with great reluctance, scheduled myself in for a few hours from now. Miss Phony is gonna kill me every time I see it, I know. It's too much. I wasn't terribly thrilled with having been confronted with that as soon as I left my building, but at least he hadn't been pushy. Accepting an afternoon appointment was probably more than I would have gotten from others. Still, it would have been nice if I'd been allowed to get my mind off things for just a little while. But I guess I should make the most of the few hours I had before my appointment. After that, I'd gone to the grocer to get enough food to last a few days, so I wouldn't have to leave my flat again for a while. Most of that was set to be delivered later in the day. I had only one little bag with me when I left. Since my afternoon was booked and I didn't actually know how long the whole statement ordeal was going to take, I decided to stop by for lunch at a nearby cafe that was fairly close to home. They also had a lovely open-air seating area. I'd spent far too many afternoons there studying, so I knew the menu by heart. I soon found myself seated with a cup of coffee as I waited for a light lunch to be delivered. It was a beautiful day, and I was regretting that I hadn't brought a book with me. Of course, I could always hunt one down on the net and read it in my head, but I hated that blank, drooly look people got on their faces when they read that way. Instead, I just leaned back in my seat and watched the traffic passing by. Instead, I looked out the window and got that weird drooly expression that you get when you're just staring blankly at things. Hopefully, after giving a statement, I could put this entire thing behind me and just never think about it again. I didn't even notice the man approaching my table until he slammed into it, toppling the bag of fruits from the grocer. What the fuck? The jolt sent several tangerines rolling across the table towards the edge. No! Not the tangerines! Grab your things before they fall on the ground! Quickly! Quickly! Hang on, wait a second. But what about the man? Wait a second, I don't care. My things! No! I jumped to my feet and made a grab for the tangerines before they rolled off the edge. My tangerines! They're my favorite! Oh my, I stumbled right into your table, didn't I? How clumsy of me. Ho 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 ho. I only vaguely paid attention to the man as I tried to save my tangerines from certain doom. The tangerine abuse, not the citrus. Alright, that was a bit dramatic, but still, I didn't want them to get bruised. The man who'd run into the table snatched one just as it rolled off the edge and handed it back to me. The hero! He might have caused all the tangerines to fall, but that one, he reached out, grabbing it, saving it! The tangerine hero! He is also the glasses man with the little freckle under his eye, it's true. Look at his hair. It's so long. Imagine it blowing in the wind. Oh my. As I took it, I looked up at him for the first time. Oh no. I wasn't sure I was up for another interaction with a stranger just yet. I feel like he needs elf ears. Hang on. Yeah. I work over to him. Okay, here we go. Should we put one on the other side? Can we manage that? Should we give him some earrings too? Just a little bit of bling. There we go. He's fabulous now. Yes, it's everything I wanted! Finally, we have an elf or goblin. I look at him. I look back at you. Oh no. Would it be a goblin in this world? I wasn't sure I was up for another interaction with a stranger just yet, though he seemed okay, like a very normal man, I say, looking at his pointy elf ears. His hair is so pretty. It's alright. It was just an accident. I assumed, anyway. I couldn't imagine he went around running into tables on purpose. Then allow me to extend my most humble apologies. I really ought to watch where I'm going. It isn't that big a deal. I said it's all right. Come to think of it, now that I was getting a good look at him, he felt weirdly familiar. But I felt like I would definitely remember having met him before. Like, how could I forget those elf ears? So, you did very kindly tell me that. I don't know that it was especially kind. Barbie man. He's a Barbie man in a Barbie world. Very normal elf man knocking over everyone's tangerines. Did he bump into you on purpose to get your attention? Well, perhaps not. Perhaps it only feels that way because the world continues to become less and less forgiving. But it's always pleasant to meet someone who seems to have such a kind heart. A slight smile. I suppose so? This guy was a little weird, wasn't he? What was he even talking about? Can I take my normal man comment back? Weird man? He let out a gentle, amused laugh. And I got the distinct feeling he suspected I was thinking something like that. Or he's just a jerk who wanted to bruise all your fruit. He was only playing coy, seemingly like he was a tangerine hero when in actuality, abuse. Though, I guess we haven't really met exactly. I'm Amir. Caco! At any rate, I don't want to interrupt your lunch any more than I already have. I'm truly sorry for disturbing you. Oh, no, stop that. No disturbance. You wanna take a seat and eat lunch with me? You know, as long as you're not busy or anything. Fruit abuse is not okay. No. But I don't know if he wanted to abuse the fruit or if it was an accident. Was it all a scheme? I don't know. No worries. It really wasn't that big a deal. It could have been, though. I hope you get a chance to enjoy those tangerines today. They look, he winks, quite delicious. Oh, he said it over his shoulder, casting a strange smile at me before he ducked his head down. He quickly, oh no, my elf ears! Hang on. As I attempt to get my mouse down my other screen. There we go. Alright, cleaned up, nice and tidy. The way you read the fruit abuse line sounded like Toby determined if gravity falls. Wait, abusers always have the same excuses. What? You can't stop. Fruit abuse. We can eat a tangerine like those dogs in Lady and the Tramp. I feel like it would be a lot less romantic as you're biting down the citrus and then, you know, citrus droplets flying off a little bit, and both of our eyes were both like, ow! I knew those ears were fake. What? No, those were real elf ears. Stop it! I swear he was a real elf man and not something I just doodled on top of. He quickly left the seating area and disappeared into the crowd. I didn't really have a chance to respond to that, but was kind of weirdly ominous. What was with him? I flopped back in my seat again, completely baffled by that entire interaction. Dang it! I should have asked for his phone number. This really was my week for meeting weird men, wasn't it? It wasn't long after that when my lunch arrived. I ate quickly, mentally going over what I intended to tell them when I stopped in to give my statement later on, and trying to forget my encounter with the odd blonde man. I just hope this statement doesn't take too long. I quickly finished up my lunch and decided to head home to drop off my bag, then work my way towards the address, Mr. Kellner had given me. I was so focused on getting back that I wasn't paying much attention to my surroundings after that. Looking back, that was definitely my first mistake. I had just exited a pedestrian-only area and was passing by a sleek blue car parked near the footpath when it happened. Out of the corner of my eye, there was a strange flash, and for a split second, everything went silent. I quickly turned, but there was nothing there. Sound flooded back into the world, and everything was normal. But I stood still for a long moment, just looking around, as if that would help me work out what had happened. Huh? Something's wrong. It was as if there had just been a glitch in reality. But no one else had seemed to notice it. Oh no! Am I glitching just like the text-to-speech? GLaDOS? What the heck was that? Boom! I didn't get a chance to finish the thought. From behind me, someone grabbed me by the shoulders, causing me to drop everything in my hands. No! And without warning, I was being pushed towards the blue car I had passed only seconds earlier. What? No! Help! I twisted wildly to see who was there, but they kept me facing forward as they shoved me along. Not our tangerines! No! No! I was not allowing this. I planted both feet firmly on the footpath, pushing back against them as I let out a painful shriek. Ah! The surrounding people continued to walk past without even looking our way. Oh no, I've been pulled into a separate dimension. What? How can they just ignore this? Uh-oh. I lack the analytical trait, Chet. I'm too emotional. Can't do that one. Now I can't do confident and fight against my attackers, or flee and find help. Nah. I'm an Esper. I'm going to blow up their brains. I fight against them. That didn't matter right now. I just knew one thing. I wasn't getting in that car. I twisted, screamed, and tried to stomp the foot of the guy behind me. We had stopped just in front of the car. My attacker grabbed the back of my head, pushing it downward towards the open door. I freed one hand enough to brace it against the top edge of the car, and at the same time, I jerked my head back as hard as I could. There was a startled grunt behind me and a flash of pain as my head connected with the guy's chin. I didn't have the leverage or space to elbow him in the side, so I clawed at his arm instead, grabbing and twisting to try and get him to let me go. All to no avail. With a low growl, the man caught my hand and pinned it behind my back. He pushed me flat against the side of the car, pinning me in place. His head dipped down as he hissed in a low voice. Get in the car. We don't have time for this. Cranky kidnapper. Oh no, I upset the poor man.
Caleb, we don't have time to force her!
Uh-oh, now I know his name. Ooh! Oh no. The surprisingly calm voice coming from inside the car was one I recognized right away. I guess I kind of used the wrong voice for him, so I made him talk like this, rather than the voice I had been using for him. Ari? The guy from yesterday? Oh look, and there's the other guy that isn't released as the dating option, right? What? Oh no!
Our orders were literally to force her. As long as she stays alive, that's all that matters to them.
Not Colonel Ari, no! Now I'll never get to taste this chicken. There was a short, quick sigh.
We are not going to hurt you, but there are others nearby who will. Now get in the car. We don't have time for this.
Let go of me!
Two of the three out. Not out yet. They're blonde. Two of the three not out yet are blonde. Oh. I was desperately trying to catch someone's eye as people passed us. Why was everyone acting like this was normal? Caleb moved back just enough to have room to place a hand at the back of my head to force me down and into the car. My shins smacked against the edge of the door, and I fell face first into the seat, only to be moved out of the way seconds later. I barely heard the muttered apology as he got in behind me and slammed the door shut. Sorry, he says. Why is he apologizing? He's kind of doing it on purpose. Ow! Whoa, car screeching sound effect. Wow, it's like I'm really being kidnapped. I was pressed back into the seat as Ari slammed his foot on the accelerator. You, Will, and Ruben are the 3 stretch goal Kickstarter backer reward dudes. Got it. Now alone with the 2 of them, I let out a shaky breath. Now tell me what's going on. What do you 2 want with me? Neither answered. Figures. As expected, we are being tailed. Tailed by who? Why? Caleb shot me an exasperated look, but ignored my questions as he leaned over into the front seat. How many? Ari checked a console next to him, frowning. At least 3 others are closing in on our location. 3 other what? Now that I had calmed down, I realized I should call for help. It was amazing how adrenaline could completely erode one's ability to think logically. My analytical trait! Oh geez, this is what happens when you're emotional. Keeping one eye on the 2 of them, I tried to connect with the safety department through the net. Wait, what? I couldn't connect? It was impossible. Ari made a wide turn, sending me headlong into the door. Ouch! I had only just managed to avoid slamming my head into the window. There was a flash of worry across Caleb's face as he pulled me back away from the door. I hate logic! I'm powered by emotions! Time for the contingency plan. Van said she has an area cleared near here. Get us there. I'm trying to do so. I glanced behind us, realizing there was another car that appeared to be following us, just like they'd said. How did I get myself in the middle of some high-speed car chase? This was insane! Change of plans. Get us out of here now, Ari! You realize that if I just teleport us out, they'll see the distortion trail. Teleport? Espers. Then we have to get them off our tail first. I don't believe that's going to be possible. And we need a way to mask the trail so they can't track us. Ari made another sharp turn, this time sending me face first into Caleb. Ah! Oh, jeez. He wrapped an arm around me as he braced himself against the front seats so he wouldn't slide around as much. I struggled against him, but his grip was way too tight to get away. You know, maybe if they just buckled in. Safety first, chat. Well, hold on, I have an idea. Let go of me! I gave Caleb a shove, but it was like shoving a wall. He didn't even look my way. Instead, still holding me tightly, he moved us both aside as Ari apparently set the car to auto and climbed into the back seat with us. The car abruptly slammed into high gear. I could hear the high-pitched whine of the power coil as we sped up. Crushed into Caleb's chest as I was, I only caught a glimpse of what was outside the windscreen. We were on a long street with an intersection ahead, and across a building we were heading towards at full speed. What are you? Hold on. Wait, were they about to drive into that building at full speed? My head filled with the sound of the power coil trying to overload. Death awaits. I clapped both my hands to my ears and screamed. Ah! There was a flash of light, and then everything stretched and twisted. Couldn't see anything or hear anything. It felt like my body was being ripped apart. My scream thinned and into nothing.
Then they all died. The end.
Good game. That was it. Pretty short. I didn't expect the route to end that quickly, but hey, wow. I liked the art. Good stream. Whee! we were tumbling onto the stone floor like we'd been spit out of thin air. I staggered forward, free from Caleb, but running wasn't an option. My entire field of vision was spinning. Yep, vomit time! I pressed the back of my hand to my mouth, trying to swallow down the taste of bile and will my stomach to untie itself. That felt like a space fold, a wormhole or something. There was no technology I knew of to create any sort of micro wormhole. Caleb and Ari seemed unfazed by what had just happened, as if they'd done it 1,000 times before. They were speaking, but their words were like an uncomfortable buzz in my head. Couldn't make out what they were saying. My stomach finally gave out and I gagged onto the floor, clutching my abdomen as it tied itself in painful knots. Everything tilted and I hit the ground, barely managing to catch myself. I was still choking on the taste of acid and whatever was left in my stomach. That finally got attention. There were footsteps and someone was crouching next to me. His hand passed gently over my back. A surprisingly gentle gesture from a damn kidnapper. It's alright. Try to take deep breaths. Instinct told me to scramble away, but my body wasn't exactly in prime scrambling condition. I stayed in place, squinting at the ground and wishing he'd go away. Maybe if I wish hard enough, tangerine barf. But I didn't eat any tangerines yet. I had only eaten the sandwich from lunch and some coffee. Oh. The first jump can be a little disorienting. It'll pass soon. Disorienting was an understatement. I just ignored him and tried to figure out what to do next. I just need to get a hold of myself. How had this all happened? And more importantly, what did these two men want with me? I was hardly a prime kidnapping target. I say, after I talked about how I was a hardcore expert earlier. I leaned over to rest my forehead against the cold ground, trying to take slow, deep breaths. The soft trickle of water echoed to me from somewhere in the building, but it was otherwise quiet. Man, main character finally got food in her after basically not eating since sometime the day before, and then just hurls it all back up? Yeah. Sucks to be me. Where were we? How far had we traveled during that jump, as he called it? Rubber. That's not rubber. There's not a bunch of bouncy balls on the floor. No. It's rubble that littered the floor. Lot less fun than bouncy balls. Chunks of mortar, bits of twisted metal, pebbles, dust, and broken glass. There was also a strange smell, like wet soil and rot. From what I could see, it looked like a damaged vivarium or hydroponic center. There were some broken containers scattered around and a few stray piles of dark soil, like the sort my father used at work. Tendrils of vines sneaked around through the wreckage, as well as some tenacious plants that had taken over after the place was damaged. None of it was useful for escaping, but it gave me an idea of where we could be. There had been a sector of Cecilis hit by a terrorist group last year. It had been a shock to everyone to have an attack so deep into New Albion. Repairs had stalled due to some kind of bureaucratic nonsense. Much of it was still damaged, and the entire sector was off limits. Aside from a few security guards and municipal officers at the entrances, it was also supposed to be empty. I wasn't an expert on espers, but I knew from Trent that most knights could only teleport short distances. Line of sight, maybe a few kilometers if they'd been to the location before. But the damaged sector was around 12 kilometers from where I lived. Actually, that held up. I tried to catch my breath and quell the nausea. Okay, good. That was good. If that's where we were, then getting back home wouldn't be an impossibility. If I could get away. That was the problematic part, though. I shifted slightly, turning my head just enough to get a look at Ari and Caleb. Ari was still right next to me, but Caleb was 2 or 3 meters away. If Ari was an Esper, surely Caleb was as well. Espers, and also criminals. I had no reason to assume this was tied to what happened yesterday, and yet it seemed like too big a coincidence for it to not be connected. But even knowing that, it wasn't like it told me what they wanted with me. No one else is around. I'll contact the tower and have the Morai try to get a read on this place. But before that, care to explain why you brought us here? No one else knows who we're with. If they do manage to track us this far, they still won't be able to determine who managed to succeed in acquiring her. I chewed my lip and kept one eye on them as I carefully pushed myself up. My legs were cramping, and something hard was jabbing into my knee. Even if I couldn't run yet, I didn't have to stay all huddled up. For now, I would just... In the start where he met Ari, you could have also met Caleb there instead, with variations for meeting either of them or neither of them. Same with the choice where he met the Tangerine Torturer. Could be others. The different route possibilities. Oh. I doubled over as the nausea returned with a righteous vengeance. Huh?
Now, Chet, don't tell anyone. The plan is to kidnap the phony known as Caco. Once she is in our palms, we will use her Esper powers to steal the secret formula. I already sent 2 of my Esper goons, Caleb and Ari, to catch her.
Perfect. Now I know who's in charge of all of this. It's Plankton, chat. It's Plankton. These two are just Plankton's lackeys. Take a note, chat. We're gonna have to stop him from stealing the secret formula. So, moving was a bad plan. Freaking Plankton, I know! He can't be stopped! Always trying to steal a secret formula. I gripped my abdomen hard enough, I was surprised I didn't push my stomach out through my spine.
Crimson knows who we are.
Ugh. Crimson? He's the only one. Oh, Crimson's a person?
So you're just hoping that if no one knows which faction took her, they'll just fight amongst themselves for a while? That's a long shot.
I tried to listen in as I fought off nausea, but none of it made sense. They were talking about factions and Crimson. Crimson is Plankton. Do you think he ended up with the name Crimson because now he's wearing a little red villain cape to come off more intimidating and villainous, more powerful with it? So they call him Crimson after his new red cape? All things that had nothing to do with me. I was a student.
We can't stay here. If Crimson doesn't find out where we went, someone else will. We aren't the only one with bishops. Let's go.
Crimson is such an edgy name. Except, look at Plankton. And imagine that his name was Crimson. And that here he is, running into the Krabby Shack. Mr. Krabs, you know. Running on over to him. And they were like, Crimson, what are you doing here? Come back to steal the Krabby Patty's secret formula, huh?
Actually, Crimson is a color.
I look at Gray's name. I'll take note then. Plankton in a Dracula cape. Eh. He joined me and Ari, stopping half a meter or so away.
How is she?
Not well. Cacophony. Can you stand? When I think of Crimson, I think of someone with, like, emo locks turning to me saying things like, ugh, you just don't get it. Now I need some... Quick, someone spend 1 bit to make Plankton say, ugh, you just don't get it. I managed to glare at him through my hair, gritting out an answer. Do I look like I can stand? I believe that means no. I apologize for the discomfort. Gotta head out, Dagnardio? Alright, thanks for coming on by and watching for a little while. I hope you have a good day. I apologize for the discomfort. As I mentioned, the first jump is often rough for people. I wouldn't have subjected you to it if it hadn't been necessary.
Okay, enough. We don't have time for you to play the night. We need to move, even if it means one of us has to carry her.
Or if you just don't get it, SpongeBob, I crave the formula and will now teleport behind you.
Nanny the frick.
Just SpongeBob, like, half-closed eyes looking at Plankton is just like,
Annie the frick?
hell. Caleb. I winced as the buzzing in my head came back.
Get her to her feet. Come on, I know how she feels, but we can't wait for her to recover.
My apologies, Caco. Ari, clearly the more polite of the two, tried to pull me to my feet. I did not cooperate, which is only partly due to being ill, but mostly because I didn't want to go anywhere. The further we got from my home, the less likely I'd be able to get back. Why are you doing this? Parents can't pay a ransom. Neither one bothered to answer my question. I swallowed hard, wishing I at least had something to wash my mouth out with. As if in answer to my thoughts, a small flask appeared in the edge of my vision. I stared at it apprehensively. Uh-oh. Drink quickly. We need to leave. I look at the flask drinking option, but I also look way more fondly at the slap it out of his hand option. I slap it out of his hand. I reached for the flask, half intending to take it and half intending to slap it out of his hand. Rinsing my mouth was more important than being defiant, but my hand betrayed me!
But Plankton Con, the secret formula is with squids who can sand it at ya.
Oh my god. I love the way it said Plankton Con in particular, god dang it. I slapped it away, sending it spinning across the floor. Oops. Not that I felt too guilty about it. It was kind of satisfying, to be honest. There was silence. A split second later, a pair of hands grasped me by the arms and hauled me to my feet. I didn't have time to go limp the way I had with Ari. I came face to face with Caleb. Nausea washed over me, and I thought for a moment that I'd vomit on him. Yes! Yes! Unfortunately, this time my stomach managed to control itself. We've got a whole anime arc going right now.
I think she's well enough to handle a second jump.
Caleb.
Ari, we don't have time to wait. If she can act like that, she can handle it.
Oh, jeez. I ripped myself out of his arms and took a wobbly step away. No, I was not doing that again. If not because I had no intention of being kidnapped, then because I wasn't going to endure my insides turning themselves upside down again. What do you people even want with me? Ari stepped to my side again and set a hand on my shoulder. Caco. No! You're going to take me away from here. What do you even want with me? Caco, we're here to help you. I know this must be difficult. By kidnapping me and nearly killing me? Look, Caco, all you did was barf a little bit and get nauseous. It's not that bad, you're exaggerating. He looked almost sad, and that just made me even angrier. This wasn't a situation where the villains got to be sympathetic.
I'll explain everything later. Let's go.
It's already later! He took me by the wrist, and this time I couldn't get away from him. Caleb,
get ready to make another jump, Ari. We don't have time.
Ari moved closer, and I just lost it. Both of their heads exploding from my Esper abilities. There was no time to worry about how I felt or who they were. I was already far from home, and going for another jump was out of the question. No! I clawed at Caleb's hand, trying to pry it off my wrist. Stop! Calm down! He tried to pin my free hand with his as I dug my nails into his fingers to pry them off. I somehow managed to drag my wrist from his grasp, only to have the other immediately captured. It was that moment I attacked full force, screaming, kicking, and clawing at anything I could reach. Damn it! Ari! He pinned my wrists while I kicked out savagely, catching him awkwardly in the thigh. Let go! Ari slipped his hand under my arms and started to drag me out of leg reach while Caleb cursed loudly. Apparently, neither of them had been expecting the outburst. When all you've eaten for the past 2 days with a couple of oranges, vomiting might as well have been death. We didn't eat the oranges, we ate some sandwiches at the little cafe. Caco going savage, let go of me! Ah! Hadn't really been planning it either, but I might as well just go with it now. I twisted violently, trying to wrench myself from Ari. I was still watching Caleb out of the corner of my eye. He was definitely trying to work out how to get close enough without getting another kick, but he suddenly whipped his head to the left, his eyes growing wide. Ari, watch out! I didn't get the chance to see what caught his attention before the pillar beside us exploded. Oh, and Pope! Hello there, coming in with the raid. Thank you for the raid. Welcome. I hope you had a good stream. Looks like you were playing the Long Dark there. I hope that was a good time. Hope you made some good progress and then just, enter the world, walk a couple of feet, and then pass out and die from the cold. Whoops, hypothermia. What? Hello there, Pope. Welcome. And Ollie, thank you for following. Appreciated. What's up, everyone? Made a lot of progress. Alright, so then you did make it forward in the Long Dark, then. Hello! Hello to you as well, Ollie. Hey! Well, welcome to the world of the Tangerine Torturer Raiders, where people just run into me and make me drop all my tangerines onto the ground, bruising them like tangerines. Oh, wow, hey! That was the end of that chapter then. Alright, we move forward. Chapter 3. Iron and steel will bend and bow. Or bow. It's probably bend and bow. Usually you say something that you bows, not bows, if it's bending. I screamed and ducked down when the pillar exploded. Ari grabbed me and dragged me back, spinning both of us around the edge of one of the other pillars. I stood there, heart hammering, back to stone, and face staring at Ari's Adam's apple as he shielded me from a volley of what sounded like weapons fire? Sort of? Uh-oh. I think it's Esper abilities. I didn't actually hear a weapon, just the sound of the building being damaged around us. I'm from Zach's Discord, and I saw you were streaming, so I decided to check you out. Indeed, I recognized your name, Ollie, and was like, oh, I think I've seen him from Zach's community. Welcome. Thanks for stopping on by. Even sonic weapons made noise. I couldn't understand what was happening. Caleb, who had dived behind some nearby rubble, pulled out a small handgun and fired back at our attacker. How goes the game, by the way? Pretty good. Text to speech? I heard the little ping noise? Is it gonna read it out? The text-to-speech not really wanting to. It's like, I don't know about that one. I'll give it a minute, and if it doesn't still go, I'll try refreshing it, and we'll see if it does it then. I clapped my hands to my ears, sending up a panicked prayer as everything spiraled completely out of control. The ground less than half a meter from me exploded, shooting a spray of stone flecks up towards my face. At the same time, the entire building shook as if hit from the outside. Instinct kicked in, and my body moved on its own. Okay, quick. I refreshed the notification. It's supposed to send again. But it's refusing. I'm sorry, Shy Guy. Stream Elements and text-to-speech decided it hated you and is not reading out that one. Well, I had no idea where I was intending to run. I was just going to run. Away was as far as my brain got. What the heck? Hang on, his eyes are glowing now. Ari stepped in front of me, placing one arm across my shoulders to pin me in place while he fended off any debris that would have struck me. It was the second time he was putting himself in harm's way to protect me. Though I wouldn't have been in harm's way in the first place if not for him. Not this time around, you know, maybe if he hadn't kidnapped me, I would be fine. I flinched as the building shook again. Was someone outside attacking us too? But how? Why? It was too far beyond my ability to cope with or understand. I curled against Ari's chest as if making myself as small as possible would help. If he wanted to take the brunt of whatever was happening, I would let him. A loud explosion rumbled through the floor, and several more shots struck the ground just beyond the pillar. Caleb fired back, though it didn't seem to do much good. Is that just me, or is that a psi burst? It is not just you. Who even is that? What? Ari calmly placed a hand over my mouth. Will you shut up? They didn't exactly introduce themselves before they started flinging those things at us. He stopped berating me only long enough to fire several shots at the attacker. I shoved Ari's hand off my face. Why are you shouting at me like that's my fault? And there are two of them now. One has a sonic rifle. There appear to be more of them outside. Not sure if they're from the same faction. Yeah, I noticed that when they started trying to bring the whole damn place down on our heads. The moment they get over the wall out there, we're done. Ari peered around the pillar. Those two are shooting at each other for the moment. Perhaps we should take the opportunity to flee. Flee? Where? You teleport and we might as well send up a beacon saying who we are and where we're going. What was the point of even coming here if we do that? Is this a Petri boyfriend sim? It feels like it. No. These men aren't tall or shadowy enough for that. Come on. For a moment, it was so surreal, as if I was watching it all from the outside. Caleb and Ari were just having a conversation while Caleb exchanged weapons fire with two people, one of who was apparently an Esper shooting some sort of psi attack at us. I just couldn't get my head around it. How the hell did they find us anyway? An adept team of bishops, no doubt. Are you ever going to tell me what's happening? Caco, you need to stop this. Come on, use your Esper abilities and just make everything blow up. It's fine. I let out another short scream as something hit the pillar Ari and I were behind, sending a terrifyingly powerful vibration through my body. Never mind, I'm not talking anymore. Ari, get her the hell out of here. I think it would be unwise to leave you alone. You cannot get the queen out of here, Vaughn. That's an order. Did he say queen? What? No way! I hope you realize you do not outrank me. Damn it, Ari, just do it! Caleb suddenly darted out from his hiding place to another pillar to get a better vantage point from which to murder people, I assumed. My queen, yes. Chess terms. He fired off more shots, leaving me wondering why he was using a weapon and not whatever psi abilities he possessed. Ari sighed, and I had the strangest feeling this sort of situation had played out with them many times. This was just every day for them. I need to get you to a safer location while they're distracted with each other, but I don't wish to attract attention, so we're going to run. Wait, what? He took my hand and, with a quick look around the pillar, dragged me from where we were to another pillar a short distance away. I I ducked my head down and bit my lip to keep me from screaming the entire way. Running around in a place where people were shooting at each other wasn't something I wanted to do again. From behind our new hiding spot, Ari scanned the area as if deciding on a path. I had a sinking feeling we were definitely doing that again. There is a corridor on the adjacent wall. If we can make it there, we should be safe. Why not just teleport like you did before? The teleportation ability leaves a distinctive distortion trail that can be tracked. Teleporting across the room will draw attention and fire. Cacophony and her harem of Esper boyfriends. Aw, jeez. Hang on. Alright. That means I need to make myself more fitting then, right? Oh, there's the red. Okay. And so we just, do a little of this. And then I can also use orange. Yeah, I like how much brighter and noticeable. Hang on, let me outline the red instead. There we go. Beautiful.
Now let me just clean this up.
There we go. I'm the queen, Chet. It's a party hat. I want to buy it. Orange? Okay, it's more of a yellow. Orange. Gold. Yellow. Close enough. Same color family, right? Right. I had so many more questions, but no time to ask them. I shot from one of the others, slammed into the pillar we had just left, taking a huge chunk off. If we had been hiding there, we definitely would have been hurt.
Aren't you glad it isn't purple?
Comedy Goblin, thank you. Wow, really lightening the mood. Ari checked quickly, then looked back my way. We're going. I nodded hesitantly, not really wanting to, but I didn't think I would get a choice. He grabbed my arm and, together, we darted from that pillar to a pile of rubble. Ari ducked behind it and pulled me to the ground with him. Oh no! But as I went down, I caught a look at the people Caleb was fighting. A woman in black with some kind of breathing mask on her face. You can also see that the cornea, what is that? The white part of her eye, the sclera, is all black. Oh no. But as I went down, I caught a look at one of the people Caleb was fighting. She slinked back out of the fractured rainbow light from above and into the shadows. Right as she winked out of sight, she looked our way. I want to date her! Me too. And maybe I just imagined it, but it felt like our eyes met. A shiver crawled down my spine. Then she was gone. Ari had seen her vanish as well. He crouched behind the debris, a frown passing over his face. A knight. This isn't good. A knight, which meant she could teleport like him. We weren't really safe anywhere in this room. Not when Caleb wasn't right next to us prepared to shoot anyone who teleported to our location. Caco, hold on to me. What? Woo! I didn't actually have time to do it. Rather, Ari grabbed me, and once again, the world twisted and warped. When I staggered out of whatever you would call it, that sensation, we were right in front of the opening Ari mentioned before. It opened into the yawning darkness. Aw, the darkness is tired. It's sleepy. Someone get a little cup of warm milk for the darkness. You know, maybe some pillows, a nice blanket to tuck it in. Aw, poor darkness. He shoved me in, tucking me against the wall, just beyond the doorway.
I mean, I know an otome full of pasty, mercenary-ish elfmen.
Oh my. Tuck me in, I'm ready to die. I thought you said we weren't doing that again. If you yawn long enough into the darkness, it yawns into you? Now, I know that's the case with staring. It should still apply with yawning, too, right? Yeah. Math checks out. The situation changed. Stay quiet. His body was tense, as if he was watching to see if we'd be followed. But from where he was standing, the room we'd left wasn't even visible from where we stood. Thankfully, the knight appears to be preoccupied with Caleb and the other one for now. It doesn't appear that anyone is headed this way, though I can't be certain they aren't aware of which direction we went. The building shuddered again, sending a shower of dirt on us from above. Ari planted his arms on either side of me, and the air buzzed slightly with what I could only assume was psi energy. He managed to block most of the debris. Seconds later, Ari was pulling me further from the light and into the darkened corridor, but he glanced behind worriedly.
Yes, further into the darkness, Chet.
I don't believe Caleb will hold out long alone. I bit back the sarcastic response to that, because as angry as I was, I didn't really want Caleb to get hurt, or anyone. Stockholm Syndrome. I hoped no one got hurt. It was a stupid, childish hope that had absolutely no place here, though.
The darkness is my friend, tuck it, give it a forehead kiss, and sing a bedtime song.
UX darkness with a bang. Vroom.
I wake the darkness with a bang. Vroom. Huh? I guess vooming him awake? Vroom! Maybe driving him awake. We don't know many are outside either. A knight that can use psi bursts that strong is unusual. Yeah, with the bong. He seemed to be talking to himself more than me, but I hazarded a look up at him. What's a psi burst? A psychic attack. You cannot be hit by one, Caco. Besides the physical damage, they can severely disrupt the neural pathways of people who don't know how to block them. Does Caleb know how to block them? Caleb is a rook. His ability to physically enhance his body gives him a measure of resistance to this type of attack. A measure of, huh? It didn't sound very promising. Ari stopped walking and set his hands on my shoulders, leaning down to look earnestly into my eyes. Caco, you must hide.
Chess nerds. Those psychic people and, their chest.
Chest? Chest terminology. I'm not talking about chests. Isn't that the same thing as chest? Thank you. What? She and the others are targeting you. We had hoped to retrieve you before the other factions found you or moved in. We underestimated them. Yeah, treasure chests. The game used to be more chess themed before. Some character names, I think, have their bases in chess terms too. What is it? There is one Atome dating sim that's like Amnesia. That's the name. I forget the extra little part of the game title that has named characters all based around different card suits too. So chess terminology stuff makes me think of that. Amnesia memories. That's it. I wonder if the text-to-speech can do other languages. Oh, no.
Japanese, konnichiwa weebkan.
You typing out the Japanese like that, though, and reading it out and being like, oh, yes, it's this one. Googling. If you do !TTS, you can see all of the available voices. So, those will be the options. Their names weren't, but their universes were, I thought. They're actually going to localize the fan discs for it, too. I think you're right, that their roots universes had different suit labels, but I think all of the characters, too, and their design are all thematic around that as well. What does that even mean? Listen to me. I am unsure who's outside at the moment, but someone is interfering with our connection to the net. I've been trying to call for backup, but I cannot connect. For now, I need to retrieve Caleb. Oh, the design's all very weird. Yeah, Kent and his bajillion belts. Classic. In the worst case, I will get the three of us to safety. It's better for them to know who we are than for you to fall into their hands. Find a safe place to hide until we come for you. He turned away, but I grabbed his sleeve. You're wrong. All of you. You're wrong about me. You are the one who is wrong. Then tell me who you are you? We'll explain everything soon. Have my word. Be safe, Caco. And with that, the space in front of me distorted slightly, and he vanished. I sagged against the wall, unsure if I should be relieved or terrified now that I was alone. The sound of it, fighting was intensifying on all sides. I didn't know what to do. Whether it was because we didn't go far or because I had already done it once, the effects of the second jump hadn't been as bad as the first. But it's all broken. How could anywhere be safe? Tetanus is no joke. I almost read that as tinnitus. Like, tinnitus is no joke. That high-pitched ring in my ears. Oh, it's so annoying. I could die. The explosions, dude. The ringing. Whether it was because we didn't go far, because I hadn't already done it once, the effects of the second jump hadn't been as bad as the first. I felt shaky, but that was more from being shot at than teleporting again. But I was glad for a few seconds to stop and collect my thoughts. Where do I go now? I wanted to run, but where would I go? There was fighting outside, and I somehow didn't think it was because anyone out there was trying to rescue me. Ari had mentioned factions. I didn't know what factions had closed in on us, but that didn't exactly sound friendly. I moved forward, slowly, anxiously. Even if I could get out of the building before someone came after me, what then? What if the people out there were worse than Caleb and Ari? Ari said to hide, so I would. But that didn't mean I would go along with them. I just needed to hide somewhere they wouldn't find me either. And then, when they'd given up, maybe I could think of a way to get home. Broken glass crunched under my feet as I walked, but the sounds of fighting faded a bit as I went deeper into the building. I wasn't sure where I was going. My father had worked in places like this, though. If the fighting was more on that side, then I wanted to hide myself somewhere as far from there as I could. So I just keep walking for now, keeping an ear out for any signs of being followed. In the meantime, my mind was swirling with questions and uncomfortable theories. Caleb had mentioned a queen, or rather, he'd clearly called me that. A queen, huh? Yeah, you can see my crown. I'm royal. That they somehow thought I was a queen-ranked Esper might explain their actions. Somewhat. Espers were rare, less than 2% of the population, and of those, even fewer had the upper ranks of the EA scale. Yeah, called queen by someone you just met. Yeah. Queens and kings were the two rarest ability types. Less than 1% of Espers held those ranks. Far less. And I'm one of them? Aw, jeez. But had never once demonstrated telekinesis on the level of something like a queen rank. You know, maybe, Caco, it's because you haven't been trying out your powers. Maybe if we had been practicing, we wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. We could have just been like, whoosh, whoa! And if she's talking about telekinesis here, I could have just grabbed the two of them and just made them fly away. Like, picture me just grabbing the car and going whoosh, whoosh, away and through the air. As it just then explodes in the distance. Tips hat psychically. McQueenie. Oh, dang it. Based on the skills I'd exhibited, I'd always assumed I was on the lowest rungs. Have them thinking I was a queen? What would cause them to assume that? The window thing? That could be it. Shattering a window is basic telekinesis, something even a pseudo-esper might be able to do if they were panicked. Besides, Ari had already been nearby when that happened. A coincidence. Or had they already been watching me? Had that whole incident been planned? Way to test my abilities or something? But that still didn't really answer why. And if it had been a test, breaking a window should have failed me right away. It's hardly an impressive feat of Psy. Yet, somehow, if Ari was to be believed, several factions had honed in on me as a potential queen? Huh? And what factions anyway? Endgame was the one usually sweeping up stray espers. Couldn't imagine them shooting at people though. I mean, they were essentially a vast army of high-ranking espers. Could Ari and Caleb be from Endgame? But why not just say so? Though I suppose I probably wouldn't have believed them if they'd claimed it. Ugh, I don't know. How could I come up with any solid answers based on the limited information I had? 'Cause I couldn't. So for now, getting away from this madness was my priority. With knights, who could pop in and out of shadows, or wormholes on who even know what other abilities, I wouldn't feel safe until I was hidden somewhere none of them would find me. And even then, maybe not. They literally kidnapped me off the street in broad daylight, and no one noticed. What could you do to fight against something like that? And Ari had mentioned some kind of interference with the net. I hadn't even tried to call for help since we arrived. Too much happened all at once. Oh! Another strike against the fact I don't have analytical personality. If I hadn't gotten emotional, and I had gotten analytical instead, I probably would have no problem right now, chat, clearly. But, sure enough, when I went to pull up my interface and connect to the safety department, there was nothing. One of the factions out there had enough clout to put up some kind of widespread interference with the nanosystem. Or, skill. No, hacker it up out there. That was insane. It wasn't like just anyone could do that. Endgame, Crimson, groups of that caliber, sure. Or the government. Ugh, I was in so deep over my head, I didn't know if I'd ever be able to claw my way back out. There was a lump of panic growing in my throat, but I tried to swallow it down. I could not go to pieces. I absolutely could not. Just focus on one thing at a time. Trying to think about everything at once would get me nowhere. I locked my eyes on the cluttered ground and just tried to pick a careful path through the dark hall as I took slow, deep breaths. Except for the debris, the place was gutted. Offices and other rooms were empty, doors hanging open on broken hinges, the walls were scorched and some doors twisted and burned, an ugly reminder of the escalation that had led to last year's attack. And now it was under attack again, but for a different reason. A soft scuffle of movement in a room to my left caught my attention. I froze, eyes wide as I tried to stare into the darkness there. You know, just, oh, something's moving? Maybe I should stop and put myself in the path of whatever's moving, you know? Just leave myself wide open. I immediately thought of that lady in black slinking through the shadows the way she did. What? My confidence, right? I guess I am more cautious. I could ask who's there, but no. I run away! Fear bubbled up in my throat, and a wheezing gasp escaped my lips. I reacted before I could think about what I was doing, and I turned to flee back the way I came. It was stupid. A stupid panic response that I should have been smart enough to avoid giving into. The game judged us unworthy of that choice. I'm just not confident enough. I'm cautious. Fly, you fool! Oh! Where's my Esper flight abilities? God dang it! But after everything that had happened, I reacted on pure instinct. I wasn't meant for this stuff. I was only a student, not someone who could handle gunfights and espers. And people stalking me in the dark. I staggered through the hall, debris tripping me up as I tried to run. My foot caught on something and I went sprawling. A sharp piece of glass cut deep into the soft part of my hands, just below my thumb as I hit the ground. I bit back a scream of pain, but a sob escaped as I scrambled back to my feet. Casting a fearful look over my shoulder, I clutched that hand to my chest, fingers already slick with blood. A raspy whisper rustled to me in the dark as a lumpy shape shuffled out of the room. I could barely make out the figure, but I recognized that strange whisper right away. Oh no, it's the guy from the street alley. The whispers crawled in me like snakes that stole my soul. I can hear him strangling all the light with his eyes. His eyes are everywhere. In me. They want to be in you. Even if you cry, they won't stop until they eat every part of you. Every part. How can you be here? He's looking a little bit different from last time, Chet. Maybe got a little bit of a hair job. Eyes a little bit different from prior, too. The figure stepped into a patch of light that filtered in from somewhere. Well, hello, ghosty fountain man. My breath caught in my throat. I stared at the person in front of me, who was exactly who I thought it was. The man from the alley, the one who had attacked me. But it was different. His appearance had changed. Ghostly skin and a strange light in his eyes. His hair had gone completely white. What had happened to him? What could possibly change someone like that? I thought he was just a drug addict. But drugs don't do that to you, I don't think. I know you. They know you. They found me because of you. No. They already found me. They find everyone. He found you because of me. What are you doing here? How did you get here? He brought me. His voice rose to a shriek that petered out to a whimpering croak. You could have saved the eyes. Why didn't you save me? He rushed at me, mouth twisted open in a scream, hands outstretched. I screamed and stumbled backwards. He caught me and pinned me to the wall, one arm painfully across my collarbone. Unable to fight, barely able to breathe, I stared into his eyes. I wanted you to save me, to take me to the stars. And now, I'm gone. There's nothing left. He grasped my injured hand and brought it to his mouth. Ah! I shuddered as he licked the blood from my paw. Is he a vampire? This isn't even my final form. No! Let me go! One more taste of life before. It's only shadows, voices and voices and voices crawling over me like flies. Look, now I can confidently fight to get away. However, I am more emotional than I am confident. Therefore, we attempt to reason with him via our heart. What happened to you? They found me. They found me and swallowed me. You said I could save you. He stopped for a moment, as if confused, then abruptly let me go, stumbling backwards away from me. I'm here now. I can help you now. He clutched at his head with a low moan, rocking it side to side. It's too late. Oh, it's too late now. His voice won't stop. It's never too late. It's never too late, chat. You can always turn things around. I pointed at the man. I said it, but I wasn't sure. He looked at me with his agony-filled eyes, and my heart broke at that sight. I reached out a hand towards him. Let me help you. I can... No! He screamed and lunged at me. I tried to dodge, but he was too fast. He caught me around the throat, slamming me against the wall. A choked cry escaped, but was cut off as he squeezed my neck. I clawed at his hands, kicking my feet as he lifted me up off the ground. Oh, God. Please. You can't help me. You can't. His voice. The eyes inside my head. Everywhere. They want you. I'll devour you. Like they're devouring me. They're eating up my brain. Until I'm gone. Until there's nothing left. You're not gone. You're right there. I reached out with a trembling hand, fingertips brushing his cheek. There was a strange jolt when I touched him, tingling that started my fingertips and spread up my arm. The man looked at me with confusion. Terror. What's your name? Then his eyes went wide and his hand slacked. He released me and I hit the floor, legs too weak and shaking to hold me up. I coughed violently as I gulped in air. The man staggered away from me, choking out a low, shuddering moan. One hand to my throat, trying to swallow, I got to my feet. I didn't know what to do. Leave him or... Rory. Oh, his eyes aren't all evil, villainous, possessed anymore, Chet. What? My name is... It's Rory. I'm Caco. His eyes darted around as if he wasn't sure where he was. He stared down at his hands, and then at me. There was something in his face, a clarity that hadn't been there before. Maybe we can save him and have a vampire husband, though. Vampire ghost boyfriend? Don't touch him, you'll get the plague. But what if it's a vampire plague? Would you really say no to vampire? Caco, you should leave. Get out of here. There are others lurking. If you stay, they'll catch you. Come with me. We can go. No. I'll hold them off. He gave me a gut-wrenching smile. That's not a smile. It's the least I can do. I'm sorry. You did it. All he needed was a little friction shock. Wow. Oh, you can't romance Rory? Oh. No, I don't want that. You really did save me this time. Thank you. Oh. There was a shuffling in the shadows. Not just one set of footsteps. Several. Hurry. Go. But you... Go! I stumbled backwards, and with a final parting look, I fled back the way I'd come. I hadn't actually gotten very far into the corridor. Not as far as I had thought. Anyway. Imagine it. A psychic vampire queen. The power. The gothic architecture. We could dress up the boyfriend. Harem as butlers. Us with bad taste will have to stick to our unhealthier romances and other otome. Oh, jeez. I'm also gonna go ahead and maybe get rid of the crown at this point.
A vampire must fight for their mate. See?
Huh? Oh. You know, maybe the narrator...
To get Shy Guy, I think Rory might have attacked our narrator while he was trying to read that out. Uh-oh. Is Rory getting the text-to-speech? Uh-oh. Bot voice, you're drunk. Oh, and hello there, Pakatsky, and welcome. I reached the opening that led to the main atrium in what seemed like almost no time at all. The silence out there was unnerving. I hadn't realized it as I ran, but as I paused near the door with one hand resting on the wall to catch my breath, the sounds of fighting had stopped. What was I even doing back here? I was supposed to be getting away. But with that man back there, it felt like I was hemmed in by enemies. Unsure if I was being pursued or what I should do,
I peered carefully into the atrium. My eyes went wide. There were bodies. Not just one or two. I could only assume the people from outside had gotten inside at some point. They were strewn about, and I didn't know if they were unconscious or dead. And one of them was familiar. Caleb. Uh-oh. Wait, he was alive! Moving and struggling to sit up. That woman in black was just in front of him. Her foot connected with his jaw, sending him slumping back to the floor. No! I let out an involuntary cry, and her head whipped around to me as I clapped my hands to my mouth. Oh, no! Oh! I still want to date her. Yeah. Too late. She definitely spotted me. She held out a hand, and I knew it was coming. The air in front of me warped as I saw something release from her palm. And Ari was there, looking like he was barely standing as he held his arms up to block, with one of his shields, what I could only assume was a psi burst. Why did you return? Someone attacked me! He looked back and reached out with one hand, then crumpled to the ground, and the woman was right behind him. I backed away, heart drumming against my ribs like it was ready to jump out of my chest. No! She simply kicked Ari's unconscious form to the side like he was nothing as she came towards me. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of it. I wanted to go home. I wanted my normal life. The woman reached for me. I covered my head, ducking lower as if I could shield myself from her. Don't touch me! I screamed the word, and from somewhere deep inside, that scream just built and ripped its way out of me with enough force it felt as though I was ripping my throat open. It was like my own voice echoed inside my head over and over. There was a rumble and shattering glass. Steel bent, broke. Rubble was falling. Everything was falling. And then reality twisted. Cold air hit me. And I was running. Spines bent, broke, tee, and off I go. Oh, and that's chapter 4. The board is set. I think that's a good time for cliffhanger. As I save my file here. There we go. Alright. Great. We didn't get a whole lot of romancing action on. That's probably happening further into the game. So if you wanna see all the romancing, you can buy the game, chat. You know, Gilded Shadows. It's available. You can go check it out. I really enjoyed this stream. It was great. I like the art, as I did with Changeling as well. Common route, imagine not getting an SSR plus route. I'll get that route eventually. I just haven't branched off yet, okay? But yeah. Chat, thanks for everyone who gave bits. So sad so many people wrote off Changeling for its art. Heck. Yeah, that Changeling was done a few years ago. And honestly, even then, even if the art wasn't perfect on Changeling, I thought it was alright. So, they certainly improved to Gilded Shadows here, but still. This was enjoyable. That's why we're also only doing a light poke, since I don't really do a lot of visual novel games on stream here. But I made an exception for this one in particular because of being done by the same dev as Changeling. So thank you for everybody who did come out to watch this one. And thank you for everybody who gave bits with our new text-to-speech. And now I have to go check out how many messages we're at. I refresh the page. Wait, I have to relog in. 249? Yeah, it's still plenty. I hope you play more when you have time and have a ton of fun. Yeah. Oh, I missed it all! Oh, Pickle! Well, welcome to the end. You You got to see the ending screen. And hi there, Aunt. Also waving at you. There is another tomorrow, it's true. There are more games happening tomorrow. Just the farming variety. But thank you, everybody who came and watched. Thank you for those who have resubscribed. Thank you again to Pope for the raid. Thank you for those who have followed.
I'll be here next time.
Oh,
Changeling more like changes.
Don't worry, I banned Atsuma before he got his message through. You are welcome.
I don't know. What is it with GLaDOS, chat? GLaDOS, more than every other bot now, has, like, bugged out afterwards, where, yeah, she just kind of mumbles after. Okay, well. Hi there, also, Cruzgo, as we're ending the stream here. GLaDOS is cursing us, probably making villainous moves because she wanted to see the dating action. We didn't really get to it. I'm sorry, GLaDOS, we can't get to the dates every time. Oh, heck. Oh, jeez. Sorry, as I'm now poking around to see if there is someone that I can raid. Okay, here we go. Someone in... they're playing... Well... you know? We'll just go ahead and end. I think this is just a fine wrap-up point, and we'll put it here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to watch. For those, I guess... Anybody who doesn't like the visual novel games are not going to be here to hear me say, hey, we're not going to be continuing the game next week. Don't worry about it. Come back for regular gaming. And if you did come out here for the visual novel times, I'm sorry that we will not be continuing it. But it was enjoyable for this stream. I hope everybody has a lovely day. Thank you all, and farewell.